Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Florida Friday. Decided to call it that because this is the last day of my vacation. I mean, of Carlos's vacation, which means we're going to get him back on Monday. And I can't tell, well, Tuesday, I guess, because Monday's actually a holiday. It's a long weekend. So don't forget that the markets are closed on Monday. Everybody gets a long weekend. And yes, in my series of ever-increasing vibrant shirts for the week, I decided to end the week with this one I found in the back of my closet. So, in celebration of Carlos's vacation, and I can't say how happy I am going to be for him to be back. But hey, look, but it's been an interesting week, right? I mean, we've had good trading, I think, for a good part of the week. We've had anticipation of giant moves. We've had some moves. And then yesterday we had NVDA, which everybody was looking for, that just didn't happen. And Peter P.I., I like that. Yeah, I just need a Ferrari, a Testarossa. No, Ferrari. What type of Ferrari did he have? The Testarossa was Miami Vice. A 308? I don't know. All right. Okay. Anyways, yeah, no Ferrari for me. I'm a Porsche guy. So, I'll stick to that. Anyways, so we'll get ready to go here. I think Mike says he's joining. I don't know. I see him in here, but I have no screen. I have no voice from him. Mike is supposed to be joining me, but this is all I got. I got a big black box where Mike is supposed to be. See that? Black square. I don't know why. Uh-oh, it's going to be one of those. Yeah, maybe Mike, you can reload because I don't know how to reload on this side. All right, guys. Well, Mike's doing that. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him in here. Economic calendar. Some data came out just a minute ago. We need to talk about a whole lot of economic data coming out today. So it's actually a pretty busy day for all this stuff. And so much that I couldn't even list it all here. And I don't know how much of a market impact it's going to have, quite frankly, because we do see the markets popping up a little bit early on. Let's start with personal income and personal spending. Both were expected to be around 0.4, 0.5%, and both came out exactly at that target. So, so that's no surprise there. And let's see if I can just reconnect Mike. Hold on a sec, guys. Give me one of those days, is it? Can't reconnect them. Uh-oh. I don't know. I see his name. Won't even show up. I'm not sure what to do. This is a scenario, unfortunately, that my training did not cover, and I'm afraid to shut anything down because if I do, I may never get it back. So, hold on here. Let me try something different. Anyways, while I'm doing that, I will let you know that U.S. goods trade balance expected to be a negative $90 billion, which shows that again net importing is still happening. The number actually came out even more unbalanced, I guess, to the import side, a $103.6 billion, which is actually quite a bit of a surprise. An extra $10 billion, which is about 12% change in that number is quite significant. So I mean, that could be moving the market. Interestingly, though, if we actually look at the market is actually moving a little bit higher early on. So I don't think it's the good trade balance that is causing it. Later on this morning, we do have the Chicago PMI number that's coming out, as well as the consumer sentiment. So those are at 9:45 and 10 a.m. respectively. So at that time, the data should come out. So just be aware of it in case you're in a trade. I don't think that we are going to get any significant market movement as a result of that. But you never know. It could move, but I'm really thinking that it's going to be a quiet day. This is the last trading day of August, guys. I guess officially, does this make it the last trading day of summer? I'm not sure, because the summer session I normally think of lasting till about middle of September, because the middle of September is when we have the next triple or quad witching day, right? That options expiry day, and that's going to be happening on actually about around the same time. We're going to have the rate announcement from the Fed, and I think that normally is when I think of the summer session ending, and we usually start to see the fall volumes come into play. So I think that's something that we can anticipate and see. So, maybe another 2 weeks of the uncertain volume, and then we'll get sort of the bigger volume and things starting to happen in the markets. Speaking of the Fed, today will be interesting. 10 a.m. Here's another random thing that I want you guys to think of. 10 a.m. We will have Lisa Cook going to court against President Trump. And officially, she's actually going against, she's named the Fed, I guess the Fed Board of Directors and Powell personally in the lawsuit, but only insofar as if they were to execute the firing notice as provided by Trump. So it's very interesting anyways that they're taking this to court. It's been assigned to a D.C. district judge who's going to adjudicate on this, and can she be fired or not? I don't know. Like, this is so unprecedented. We have no idea if this is going to have any market impact, right? Because arguably there's going to be, look, it's uncertain as to what the impact is. Again, we've never seen this before, so I really don't know what to expect. I think the markets are going to be pretty quiet on it. I don't think we're going to see a lot of money movement as a result of this suit. We didn't really see it when the announcement was made that Trump was going to attempt to or firing Lisa Cook, who's one of the Fed chairs, by the way, in case you don't know what I'm talking about here, for cause, because she, according to the memorandum out of the White House, she made a false claim about having 2 primary residences in a loan application before becoming a Fed chair. Anyways, when that whole news broke, the markets really showed no reaction. So I don't think the lawsuit's going to be a reaction, but I just wanted to mention it to you guys so that you're aware of that, just in case something happens at noon. You can, noon, 10 a.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. is when that is supposed to go to court. Again, I don't know whether it's live or reporters allowed in or even going to hear anything. So it seems most likely that we're not going to have any noticeable impact from that. All right, so let's we can get going here. Mike is still trying to connect here. I can see him like on and off of our connection link. So you're using the right link, Mike, because I can see you joining in. I know you can. I think you can hear me there in the chat room, but for whatever reason, it's not connecting, and I've tried to clear things up while I'm talking on my side, and I don't know what else to do. The thing is automatically managed here by the software, and clicking things could ruin it all. So I'm afraid to do it. Okay, guys. The other thing we need to do while I'm trying to get Mike connected here is we've got to look at our gappers list. A few more things on the gappers list today, and a lot of familiar names. I see a lot of tickers here that we're quite familiar with that we can add into our mix. today to discuss. Sorry, I was just trying to think of options to get Mike in here. How does Brian connect? Brian must use an old link to get in directly without going through vMix. Mike, just give me a second here, and I'll see what I can do. I'll try and give you another link and see what happens. See if I've got him. He's trying again. He's connected. Let me try. This will disconnect all Zoom inputs. I don't know what happens then if I do that. Let's try something different here. Hold on, guys. Bear with me for a second. I've got to get a link for... Yeah, I'm thinking it's something on my end, but I don't know why. All right, let's try and give Mike... Try that and see if that works. If that doesn't work, then the other thing we can do is try this. All right. Okay. All right. We'll see what we can do to get him in. Okay. So, guys, here. Let's go down this list and take a look, like I was saying, what we have in our gappers. Starting with Affirm at the top. I notice we've got some familiar names here, and Affirm is gapping up 17%, so pretty big gap up here this morning, with about 880,000 shares traded. If I look at a 1 minute chart, I actually like it. Doesn't look that bad. Affirm is one that I don't mind trading when it's in play. It looks like they've given very strong guidance. They did have earnings after the close yesterday. It was one of the ones that we were looking at, and they posted very strong numbers in Q2 and actually increased their guidance for the full year. So based on that, with their increase, they're up. Their revenue is getting close. I mean, they're $876 million, which was about $40 million above the analyst expectations. And then their earnings per share was 20 cents when they were only expected to deliver 11 cents, which is 76% higher than anticipated. So it makes sense to me that Affirm is gapping this morning. I like the catalyst. I think if this volume can continue, Affirm is a good potential for trading this morning. So that's one that I think we could potentially add to our secondary list. And let me bring in our gappers list here, and I will we'll get that set up here and on our gappers list, because I still have yesterday's stuff. I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to put Affirm on here, and we'll see about watching it. One that I probably am not going to like, although I haven't even looked at it yet, is IREN. IREN is this data center everything company, right? Their AI, their data center, their crypto, they just whatever you want to be. Anyways, they had earnings after the close yesterday. I see that they're gapping up this morning with 16%. Significant volume, though. 3.9 million shares traded this morning on IREN. And let me see if there's any other details that I can provide you guys. They definitely said that their AI cloud growth was significant, and it was, so I like their headlines, right? They say AI cloud growth is significant and their mining activities are expanding. So like I said, right, they're a miner, a crypto miner. They provide AI, they run data centers. They're just trying to be everything to everyone. So just too much going on there, in my opinion. But what can you do? They are what they are. So I don't enjoy trading this. I've tried on a couple of occasions. I usually find that the spread is one that just doesn't make it worthwhile. It's a little high for a sub $30 stock, and the movements aren't don't move in a nice consistent way that I like. So I'm not going to be watching that one. On the list, we also had a couple of things that I think I'm likely to reject on this Friday. So, but let's take a look at them just in case. SOGP was the next one on the list, and I could tell you already by looking at this thing, I'm not loving it. 3 million shares traded on it, though. And that surprises me in that volume, and it is gapping up about 13%. I don't think we've ever seen this on the list. Sound Group Inc. What is this? An internet content company out of Singapore. They're a low float, right? We've only got about 3.7 million shares in the float, and I don't know why that is. Sorry, I mean it's a lower float, which means that I don't know how well this is going to trade. They've announced a special cash dividend. Ugh, I don't. Yeah, they're giving away what? They're giving away half a penny cash dividend. Why even bother? They're giving away a half a penny. US 0.005 per share. What the heck? What the heck, guys? Come on, man. I'm junking that one. There's no need to watch that. That's crazy. All right, what else have we got on the list? Oh my goodness. CELH, guys, you know we only see this one when earnings come up. Celsius Holdings. This is the dangerous energy drinks. I drank one here. I bought a couple of them because we said we were going to do that, and we drank it live, Carlos and I, when we had earnings once. And my God, I was like buzzed for the rest of the day. Apparently, you're not supposed to drink more than like one a day, or like you could have heart palpitations. So, anyways, if you're a big advocate of Celsius, then good for you. But it looks like they are seeing some support, though, as Pepsi has increased their stake in Celsius Holdings. So they're behind them. They think it's a good thing, and Celsius is jumping up. Look at the pre-market trading action. I'll flip to a 1-minute chart. You guys can see. Look at the spaces in between here. Does not look good. So it's not the type of trade that I think I would be interested in. So it's another crappy one that we can garbage. All right, here is the next one. Thar. What the heck? Tharimmune. All right, so these are the ones that I love to hate. Tharimmune is on our list. I assume that they got approval on something. A biotech company that is up 8% with 1 million shares traded. No. What the heck is it? This looks like it's probably just a bounce back after the drop. If you look at the daily, it had moved up and then lost some of that altitude, and it's regaining it again here. It looks like they've had a very active week, but I honestly am not sure what's causing this movement, and I don't like it. So, look, I'm just going to keep moving on. You guys are mentioning some better ones here that we can take a look at. Let's take a look at Bubba. It's on the list here. It's up about 6% with 5 million shares traded. So that's good volume for it so far today, and the price action looks better than it's looked in a very long time. That is because that they had earnings. Their earnings were decent this morning as they were announced. They delivered $34.5 billion worth of revenue versus a $34.2 billion expectation. Their earnings per share, though, were a little bit lower. They only delivered $2.06 when they were expected to deliver $2.13. So a little lower than anticipated, but still within range. I think with all the negative news that we've had on Chinese stocks and that, the fact that they got close to their number has got the market sort of almost breathing a sigh of relief. I feel like this is like a relief rally as this stock is up 6.5% here this morning. Is it going to continue after the market open? That's tough to tell. They also interesting, Bubba, is as part of their quarterly release statement. They had a very high level plan. Apparently, to replace all NVIDIA chips that they're using for their online retail services with Chinese chips. So that is certainly, however they do that, right, and how effective that is, we don't know. But that was certainly appease the Chinese government. I don't, I mean, is that good news for the stock or the company or bad news? I'm not sure, but the stock is moving this morning. I don't know if you guys like trading this today. I'm really not sure if this is something that I want to trade. I'm going to put it on our list so we can set some levels, just because historically we used to trade this well, and I think it might be worth taking a look at. One here that has been talked about. John of our trade room was lamenting about this ONDS, and Megan's been talking about it. So I got to say, sometimes our mods are right on top of these things. Look at this thing and its increase it's had over the month of August. It's been a fantastic month for this stock, Ondas Holdings, as they've earned some more contracts. It looks like their business is starting to take off. Look, it's ever since May, they've really started to move up, with, of course, this last month of August having been great for them, going from a $2 stock to a $6 stock. Wow, look at that. In May, they were trading sub $1. So definitely a high-risk trade. But they're continuing their move higher this morning with another good push, up another 5%, with 1.5 million shares traded. And I noticed that their average volume has increased a lot. Look at this volume over the month of August. It's gone up to now they're trading about almost 50 million shares a day. So, and this morning, they continue their growth by announcing that they're going to be acquiring another company called Apiro Motion. And the fact that they're going up despite announcing an acquisition, I think is significant, because that is usually the acquiring company's stock drops. So ONDS is definitely a good swing type trade. I don't know how it's been trading during the day. If I look at the price action during the day, it does not look good. So as much as I know that people have been talking about this one, I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, let's look at the gappers lists. You can see more and more stuff is appearing as the market is moving a little bit towards green. We're not really green overall in the markets. If I look at some of the indices, the SPY is just down by 0.2%, just off the day. And we were set another new all-time high, by the way, yesterday, right? So it's been crazy time as we've been hitting high after high after high. So it would be reasonable to expect a little bit of a pullback on the SPY today, but we could still have sort of a very bullish market without necessarily exceeding the highs that we set yesterday. But I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll just pull back altogether. Same thing with the Qs. It's down about 0.4%. It actually had a better day yesterday than I had anticipated. So anyways, I think the markets are it's amazing how they're sitting at these highs. But anyways, that being said, the last thing I wanted to look at the gappers list here was APLD. Because I noticed APLD, it's up just over my 2% mark, which is what it takes to get onto my list. It's up 2.2% with 2 million shares traded. And this is one that we have looked at numerous times in the past. Often on earnings is when it jumps up. But in this case, they have some news with CoreWeave, where they have now leased more data center space for an extra 150 megawatts of IT capacity to CoreWeave, which is going to bring their anticipated lease revenue up to about $11 billion. So good news for APLD. The price action is a little interesting this morning. Look at how it got this pop on the news, sold off, and now it's sort of settled. So I don't know if this is really going to continue to be in play over the course of the day. It looks like the excitement might have died down very quickly on that announcement, as we're just moving sideways. So probably not going to be a huge mover today. All right, that's it for my gappers list. As you can see on the gap upside, we got a couple on the gap down to take a look at. What else have I got gapping up? Not a lot, frankly. Most things are moving down. One thing that is up this morning is Apple. Apple had a great move yesterday. it really, if we just go back yesterday, it was just running, and we were watching this thing as it was breaking levels. I remember watching it at 2:31, sort of in the morning, and then up through 2:32, and then up to 2:33. So for Apple to move this sort of $3 like it did is pretty significant, and more or less in a fairly controlled movement. So it was not a bad stock to take a look at, and if you were bullish on it yesterday, so it might be worth watching Apple today. I notice more people have just joined apparently and are commenting on my shirt. Yes, absolutely. Look, I'm in vacation mode. I got my toucans going here. Where's the birds? It's my pseudo Florida wear in honor of Carlos, and I said I've been trying to up the ante on my colorful shirts all week, so this is what I'm doing. And actually, with that picture that you just posted, Tunde, of Magna PI, my shirt looks a lot like his, doesn't it? Wow, look at that. All right. And I said, I don't know where I got this from. I think it was my father-in-law's shirt at some point. It was in the back of my closet, so I can't say I've ever worn it anywhere serious. So, all right, guys. As you may have noticed, we still have not been able to get Mike into the room. No idea why. It's got to be something on my end because he's tried everything, and apparently the links I've given him have not yielded any results. So, unfortunately, again today, looks like I'll be doing the show solo. I'm going to take a quick look at the earnings. What else have we got that we want to look at? There was a whole bunch of earnings after the close yesterday, but I noticed that almost none of them are on the gappers list, so clearly they're not doing much. I've got this company here that had earnings this morning. BRP Inc. Ugh, terrible volume. No, that's garbage. Garbage, so we don't need to look at that. Yeah, I think that's it for the gap up. So we're going to move right to the gap down. You're mentioning a firm. We did take a look at that right off the top. AFRM is absolutely, I put it on my list already. It's that and Baba are the two that I think are gapping up that might provide some trading opportunity today. So we'll keep an eye on those. Okay, going to the gap down, MRVL leading the charge here as it's gapping down about 14% this morning, and it's got good volume, 3.8 million shares almost traded. And this is, guys, I know there's a lot of people that seems like every quarter when it has earnings mention Marvell and say, hey, let's take a look at it, let's watch it. Every time I've tried to trade this thing, it has never given me good entry opportunity. I think I traded it twice and I lost money twice. So I have to admit I am not a big fan. Its earnings, it looks like after the close, were disappointing on especially their outlook on AI. It looks like, that Marvell, like a lot of companies, had a bunch of hype on what AI was going to deliver for the company, and they're not delivering. And I honestly think we're going to see a lot more of this. We're going to see companies that had a lot of AI hype about their investment and what they're doing and got boosts as a result of that are going to start to be unable to demonstrate value from that AI investment, and they're not going to show a respondent increase in their revenues and profitability. So I'm not saying that the promise of AI is dead. I just think the hype about what AI is going to deliver in terms of corporate profitability over the short and midterm is overstated. I want to be clear about that because I do think AI is actually going to deliver significant profitability and efficiency benefits to a number of companies, but not every company, right? Like it's really not going to benefit a lot of companies that are already highly automated or whose industry is the one that's very manual, for example, right? Like, there's only so much AI. We've already worked so much on, manufacturing efficiency that AI is probably not going to yield much better results. So we'll see anyways. But yeah, their demand on Marvell's side is the fact that they're seeing a lot of their corporate buyers of their AI chips is started to decline. And there's also going to be a top on how many chips people can buy, right? Eventually. So, anyways, Marvell is one that is dropping a little bit, and look, I can't say it's not worth watching. It looks okay. I'm just very skeptical. I mean, the daily looks great. Look at this big gap down. Look how much it's gapped down. We're at $66 right now, having closed at 77 yesterday, and it puts us well down here into a range that we can take a look at. So I understand why you might be watching it. I just think that be careful. I'm going to put it on my list here just because I know people are watching it, and we'll see if we get other things, that might be better. I got to put it with the right caps there. All right, there we go. But we'll see what happens. But we see this in, by the way, all of these like fad markets. I hate to call AI a fad because I mean the AI I think is here to stay. And then, by the way, there's also grave concerns about what it might do from a socioeconomic point of view, but that's a whole different conversation, I think. But it is a fad in terms of how much it's taken over a market narrative and how much valuation it's driven in the markets, which I think is unfounded. So, including, to be brutally honest, I know this might be heresy, but in NVIDIA, I mean, NVIDIA feels a little over bloated, and but NVIDIA could hold this value for another decade, for all I know, right, before it might start to decline, and I think eventually it'll start to decline, but. I could be wrong in that. I mean, I thought the same thing of Microsoft, I have to admit, 20 years ago, and look where it is today. So, who knows? I won't pretend that I'm always right on these things, because I certainly am not, but we'll see what happens. In any event, okay, so let's go back to the gappers. Let's see what else we've got. OPAD. Now, this is a ticker I am not familiar with. OPAD is OfferPad Solutions. I don't think I've ever heard of this. This is like totally unfamiliar. It does trade on the New York Stock Exchange, and I see that it's actually hard to borrow. So at least on my platform, that means it's not shortable, so you can only trade it to the long side. It's a real estate services company. OfferPad Solutions. I have no idea why they're gapping here. I really want to know what these guys do. It says they're real estate. Let us help make literally almost everything easier. So it looks like they help people sell their house. Wow. Does anybody use this company, OfferPad? I've never heard of them. They must operate primarily in the US. Their website is a little hokey. I don't. Anyways, all right. Anyways, that being said, OfferPad is down 13% on 2 million shares. That is attractive, but I said it's hard to borrow, which means it is not shortable, so you have to only trade it to the long side. Because of that, I'm going to put them in the garbage bin. I don't like it. I'm curious, David. You said you're a retailer, and you said you've had to deal with them often. That sounds like a negative. Have they been problematic to deal with? What's your assessment? Because I just never heard of these guys. They compete for offers from sellers. Huh. Anyways, weird company. Anyways, okay. Let's go back to the gappers list. Dell is the next one on the list here. So let's take a look at Dell and see what it's doing. Dell is gapping down 6% on 960 million shares traded. The short-term trading here doesn't look that good. It's pretty flat. But why is Dell gapping down today? They are... it looks like they had earnings. It looks like they beat their numbers in the current quarter. However, their margins are getting tighter, and the market doesn't seem to like that. So they actually increased their guidance, too, for the full year. So, but that's not enough to push them higher. They basically said that AI demand is still big. They forecast from they increased their forecast for AI server shipments up to 20 billion from 15 billion. And in fact, they've got more orders than they can fill right now. Despite that, they say that overall demand for some of their products has been lower, but they did raise their annual revenue forecast to 105 to 109 billion, when earlier they'd said they only thought they could do 101 to 105. So I don't know. It's Dell has this might be a good opportunity for it to reclaim what it's lost here overnight. Right? It closed yesterday at $134. It's opening, or at least right now, it's sitting at 125. Dell might be interesting for Phoenix. I guess it would be a Phoenix trade here if it can actually move higher. So we'll see what happens. Not my favorite type of move. Dell is not my favorite trading company. It's also a NYSE traded stock, so there is that as well. So yeah, be careful with it. I'll maybe we'll set some levels. I've got enough stuff here. You know what? I'm gonna throw it on anyways. I do have a soft spot for Dell. So we'll put Dell in there, and we'll see what's happening. All right, last one I see on my gappers here is CHA. What the heck is this? This is another one that I don't think I've ever seen before. It is gapping down 6% on 390,000 shares traded. This is Chagi Holdings. It's a company out of China. It's a restaurant chain out of China. Looks like they released earnings, and their earnings were not as high as expected. They run 7,038 tea houses within the company's tea house network in Greater China. Okay. Anybody know this company? Chagi Holdings. Chagi Holding? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Anyways, whatever it is, I don't like it. I'm not going to trade it. I'm going to throw it in the flaming garbage truck as it comes by. There you go, Chagi. Off you go, into the garbage. I don't need you. All right, so we've got a few good things to take a look at today, guys. If you look at the gappers list at the bottom, I'm going to be watching, at least setting levels on Affirm, Baba, Marvell, and Dell. And actually, those are probably listed in order of highest to least preference today. So, of course, I still like the basics. If you look at gap down, pretty much everything. I mentioned Apple was gapping up. The rest of the Magnificent 7 stocks are gapping down. Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Tesla, all gapping down this morning. Of course, the semiconductor sector also moving down on all fronts. Every semiconductor is down today. So, you know, it's just a little bit of a red start to this day. But after the high market highs that we've had this week, again, a pullback feels very, very reasonable to me. So I'm not really worried. I don't think the sky is falling. It's not a disastrous day. It's just, you know, things are pulling back a little bit, which for me is actually a good setup for trading mid-morning, not at the open. So I'm hoping that mid-morning we get some trading opportunity. Okay, guys, today we do have a few things to talk to you about. First, if you want to join us here, well, first, let me talk about what's happening in the community. In the community, we only have one thing. Mike, I know you're not able to join. I saw you stop trying. I don't see you connecting here anymore, so sorry. I know Mike tried. I appreciate it, but just unable to get in. Of course, at least it happened on the last day, right? Whatever went wrong, at least it wasn't happening all week. I hope it's going to be good for my other guests later that are able to join, or it could be a long morning here. We'll see what happens. But anyways, the only thing we have happening today is our bootcamp prep meeting. Are we still doing that? Because the Peak Capital Bootcamp starts next week, right after the long weekend, after Labor Day. We get going in earnest with our boot camp, and so this, if it happens at noon today, will be your last chance. If you're a boot camp member and you want to do one of the pre-meetings, it's sort of gets you ready, so it can give you an idea of what to look forward to, help prep you for the session. Mike, if you're still out there, you can let me know whether that is happening or not. And let's assume it is, and that's at noon. If you Prep is scheduled. Thank you, Big Dave. I appreciate that. All you have to do is go to peakcapitaltrading.com, go into the members section. You should have the link, and you'll find the Google Meeting Room link, and you should be able to go there and attend that session again at noon today. If you haven't signed up, you still can. I think there are still spots left. I'm not sure what's happened to Mike now. He's completely disappeared. But I think that there are still a couple of spots left if you wanted to join the boot camp. It's very intensive, though. I'm telling you, this 3-month course will keep you hopping. There is a lot of stuff that is happening in that course over the 3 months. We were looking at it yesterday, and it really, in fact, let me just go in here. I'm going to show you guys this boot camp, how busy it is, because we've got a full schedule of activity that's set up for you. And if you go in, you just have to go to the dashboard, and in the dashboard, you'll see, like, these are the events for September, right, that we have scheduled. That's just the month of September. That's all the live meetings that are happening in September. You go to October, same thing, right? Boot camp, I'm telling you, like, we keep you busy with lots of learning opportunities, lots of opportunities to trade live with our traders pretty much every single trading day, as well as, of course, all the webinars and tutorial type sessions that we got going on. So if you're interested, go to peakcapitaltrading.com and you can get more information about what it delivers. Again, be prepared to put in the work. There's nothing worse than someone that joins and then is unable to sort of focus on the work and then gets disappointed in their own performance in this, because it does take a lot of work to be effective. You get out what you put in, like any detailed course. Okay. All right. If you want to join us at Bearable Traders, you can go into the chat room. It's open all the time. We have moderators on there live for as long as the market is open from, basically we open the room at 7:30 in the morning. It's open usually most days till 5:30 at night. Certainly open every hour that the market is open. And it's a great opportunity to talk with other traders, commune, get ideas. Heck, I get trading ideas every single day from our members. Plus, we share, sort of, when the day's going well or it's not going well, we get to share those emotions and feelings. It's good. Don't trade alone. Trade with a community, whatever the community is you choose. But if you're interested in trying out ours, you can use the intro offer. And if you're ready to commit, then the Elite Annual is still on sale for 50% off. So it's a great deal. So hopefully you will consider joining us in the chat room sometime soon. Okay, let's set some levels. I got to get going on this because we have just about 16 minutes here till the market open. And yes, as JJ's pointing out, as a reminder, right, it is a long weekend, which means the markets are closed Monday. We will not be here Monday. The markets are not open Monday. You can go and enjoy your Monday. So whatever you do, spend that day wisely. We've got a shortened week next week, which means Tuesday will probably be pretty interesting, especially being I expect it to be a busy weekend for news. We'll have to see what happens. Again, I'm very interested to see what the outcome of this court case is. First time in history that a Fed chair, and Lisa Cook, has taken on an administration for false firing, right? She's basically countersuing that she cannot be fired legally, and it should be interesting. Again, will the markets react? I don't know. It might be a longer term, effect, but it has sort of big ramifications. I see someone asking here: is Andrew still alive? To the best of our knowledge, he is. Andrew will continue to survive. He's a tough guy, but we haven't heard from him. But that's not a surprise. When you're out in the desert at Burning Man, communications are not huge. In fact, I think it's actively discouraged. I don't know, Brian would know better than me, but I'm not surprised we haven't heard from him in past years when he's gone to Burning Man. We don't normally hear from him for the week, but we're used to that, right? It's the same thing as when he goes to the top of a mountain. Not exactly areas where you're expected to get, excellent service. So, I think he'll be fine. In fact, who knows? He's probably reveling. I always picture Andrew, whenever I hear about bad weather at these places, I picture Andrew being like Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan on the boat from Forrest Gump in the storm, if you know what I'm talking about. That's how I picture Andrew every time in these situations. So probably Probably not exactly what he's doing, but again, doesn't, in my mind's eye, that's what Andrew's actively doing. Okay, let's take a look at what's on my gappers list and set some levels for it. Starting with a firm here in the daily. I love this gap up. I mean, this really does look like. I mean, this thing is in play. The volume is not as high as I'd like. We're only sitting at 1.1 million shares. And volume has actually dropped off over the last few minutes. So that's not ideal to what I'm looking for, but I do like the gap higher. Now, we are... I have to check here. I think we're at all-time... We are not at all-time highs. Okay. Let's get rid of some of these lines here. So we're not even close to all-time highs. And I didn't realize how far away from these highs we are. So, yeah, we've got lots of room to the top side. Keep in mind that I'm now looking at 2021, last time we were at this space. So these levels might not be relevant. I'm going to set some levels. See how we had this gap way back here? Now, again, remember, September 2021 we're talking about. So I don't know how relevant these levels are anymore, because normally we mark these levels to show where there might be demand areas or support or resistance levels. When you're going back 4 years, you know, they're not quite as relevant as they would be if it was a more current measure. So just be aware of that, and you know, keep in mind. So I'm not counting on these levels to do much. They're also relatively far, I would say, away from the active price. $99.40 is the first one. 107.10 is another. I mean, those give us a lot of room to the top side if we decide to go there. Now, if we lose some of the range that we've already gained here today, I'm going to put a level to the downside here at $87.38. That's because this is the bottom end of, or you know, where this gap sort of started way back in 2021. So we'll see what relevance that has. Other than that, there's not much to set because we are so far above the current price action. I mean, if you look at a 60-minute chart, you can see, right, overnight we've just gapped up so far that the highs and lows of the previous 2 days are just areas I can take a look at. But that's well below. See that daily level I put? We're well below that where we closed yesterday. So, yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from a firm, but I'll keep an eye on it. We'll see if it plays out well for us this morning. The next one on the list was BUBA, B-A-B-A. This one, let's go to the daily chart. This one, another one that on the daily chart, I like where it is. See how that had this 1 day just isolated up here? What day was this? The 13th of August. Where it just sat in this level, and we're sitting right at the high end of that candle right now. So I think that might be interesting. I'm going to put a level up here where we had these isolated days up here at $130. So keep an eye on that price. I think if I zoom in a little bit here using a 60-minute chart, I can see that, yeah, that day certainly has relevance. I'm going to also mark a level right around here, 125.68. I think this is where we sort of saw this day top out. So it might be interesting if we drop back. Hopefully we get some support at that point if BABA starts to fall a little bit. And then if we go higher, well, I already set that level at 130. So it's probably good enough. I'm not going to be watching this all that closely, I have to admit, because I just don't think that it's going to be an excellent trader. But you never know. That's why you watch it, because you don't know. The next one I had to keep an eye on is Marvell, MRVL. Let's look at a daily on MRVL. This one's gapping down in this case on weakness, like we said in the chip sector. And I look at this area back in March where we spiked to a low of 63.65. So I really want to see if we get support there. If I'm hoping that would support the price on its downward movement. If it doesn't, well, then we've got some more move down where the next area of support might be down here at roughly $60. I can see, and again, every time I set a level, remember, it's just an estimate. So I sort of put the level at 59.82, but I think I want some notice just above 60. So I'm going to put it at $60.40. So I get a little bit of advance notice because that cuts through this range where I see that we actually had some trading happen over the course of a few months. So if we gap down that low, I'm going to want to sort of start thinking about whether we get support at that level. So that's what I'll be looking at on Marvell. Last but not least on my secondary list here is Dell. And Dell's another one that's gapping down this morning. Again, Dell, I'm not sure what to make of it because I think Dell, I feel like this gap down is maybe a little overdone. Their news was good. They actually beat earnings and increased their guidance, but are still gapping down this morning. So I am thinking that there is an opportunity. The highs and lows of the previous 2 days are above the current price action, so I know we can absolutely take a look at that. And look where the high of the pre-market is. Notice it's cuts through these days where it's at a low, so I'm going to put another level there just to keep in mind. This 127.13 might be an area of top side resistance. If we can get through that, I think we're good to get back into this range where I already have this level set at 130 and 40 cents. To me, that's probably enough for me to have set here on Dell, and we'll see what happens with this stock. So I don't love those. There's none of them that immediately jump out as huge, must trade opportunities, to be honest. So let me just go to my primary list, which of course is led by NVIDIA and AMD. I love the semiconductor sector. I love to watch them even if they don't have earnings. I don't have anything new to tell you about it, right? This range, and we go to the 60-minute. Mike and I have been talking about this. Like, look at it's got all these ranges where a lot of shares trade hands, right? We've got, and I keep drawing these boxes for you guys, but I think they're very important to keep an eye on, right? In here, look at how many shares traded hands, right? If you sort of draw this box right across, you got to keep an eye on that. And then you get smaller isolated areas like the price range that we're in right now. If I look right here, look at the price that we're in right now. And if you draw a box across, look at how many times, right? A bunch of shares, a bunch of activity happened within this relatively narrow range. These are the types of things you got to watch for, because these are supply and demand zones that I think are important and relevant. And I watch if they break through, then they can break to new highs or lows depending which way they break. So, NVIDIA, I don't really know what's going to happen, but we're definitely in this lower supply zone that I've drawn here. Again, so if we break to the low side, I've got now a level with this box set. If we break to the top side, I know I'm going to be looking for it to hit the 180 and then maybe higher as it gets up into this next range. Again, how relevant they are, it all depends on the day. We'll see what happens. But I do like NVIDIA for that reason. AMD is one that I just like to watch. It's been actually fairly stable. I actually had some good trades on it this week. If you look at the trading this week, it looks pretty flat, right? It doesn't look as good as I think the trading actually was. But I don't have anything special other than the highs and lows of the previous 2 days. And these levels you can see already marked. 162.20 to the downside, 175.15 to the upside. But I think it's going to be a fairly quiet day for AMD. Tesla is one that might be a little more interesting. It has just gone green, only by about 42 cents or 0.1%. But Tesla, I like this 350 range that it had been in for the last couple of days. Yesterday, it sort of fell out of that range as it moved lower over the course of the day, especially midday or mid-morning when it made basically its biggest move of the day, and that was downward. But today, I noticed early on we're reclaiming some of that, so I think there's a good opportunity for some upside movement, and we're seeing that already this morning. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on Tesla, as we normally do. PLTR is the last of my usual watch stocks, and actually it looks pretty boring this morning. Yesterday wasn't a great trading day for it, in my opinion. Didn't really find anything. I haven't found anything all week on PLTR, so I may actually drop it off of my list after today if it doesn't give me any fun, and we'll only bring it back if and when it starts to show some promise again. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. Hopefully it gives you an idea of some things to watch. Let me bring in our moderators list. We'll share with you what they're watching, and you might get some ideas from what they are looking at. Here on the moderators list for today, you can see that I'll start at the top here with Jared, who's going to be watching Affirm and Marvell that we've talked about. He's also going to be watching Dell, AMD, and CrowdStrike, which I haven't looked at. So CRWD, is that? Yeah, I feel like I'm now mixing my yeah, it's CrowdStrike. Anyways, Thor is going to be watching the scanners. He may not be trading anything. He says it depends on what pops up. That being said, Thor, I got to give Thor a shout out. Yesterday, as he was trading live on YouTube, guys, if you were watching him, he called Apple. He told you his trade strategy and outlook. He told you what he was looking for. He was long, and Apple was pulling back, and he said, here's exactly what I expect, and it did exactly what he had said he was looking for it to do. I'm still stunned in that. That was a beautiful trade, Thor. So well done and beautifully called. Like, you just sort of laid out his thought process for it, and it was very lovely. Anyways, all right. Eamon is going to be trading IBM, PLTR, and CRM. Brandon's going to be looking at NVIDIA, AMD, Bubba, and Tesla. Mike is watching AMD, Google, and Affirm. Gary's got Tesla and Affirm on his list. Brian is going to be trading live in the chat room. Is going to be watching Tesla, NVIDIA, Oklo, Affirm, and Bubba. And Jared is also adding BA to his list. So we'll see if this Bubba does anything today. A lot of people are watching it. I don't have high hopes for it, but who knows? I've been wrong enough times that I don't worry about being wrong anymore. If I am, then I just, revise my views and take opportunity where it presents. Whatever you choose to trade today, hopefully it goes well. Trade smart. As Carlos always reminds us, especially on Fridays, the last thing you want to do is go into a weekend, especially a long weekend, regretting your actions. Win or lose, stick to your strategies. If you don't see a trade, don't take it. If you do, take it, as long as it follows your rules. Don't go into the weekend with a ton of regret about the actions that you took. Myself, I'm going to try and remember, right? Take the damn trade when the opportunity is there. But yeah, don't start over trading. Don't force things. Trade smart. All right. Take care, everybody. In the chat room, I'm going to hand you over to Brian and Brian's sidekick, perhaps Thor. We'll see. It'll be an exciting adventure for you guys, and we're going to continue out there on YouTube. Brian, good morning. Have a great day. Okay, guys, we're still going on YouTube here, so give me the thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. And sorry you've had to listen to me so much this week. Some technical issues today, and what's happening here? See if I can reconnect here. Maybe I can connect and get Mike in here. All right. Sorry, guys. I'll see. Oops, I just yelled at Mike. I had caps. All right, I had caps in there. I didn't mean to. Okay, guys. Look, I gotta set up my screens here so that I can get ready for the trade. What did I say I'm gonna watch? Okay, so I'm gonna watch Affirm. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on Bubba, BABA. I know you guys are watching Marvell. People like Marvell. I don't love it. There's my alarm. I've got 1 minute to the open. I see Marvell dropping here as we go pre-market. That might actually become more interesting. If we can get a pop up, Marvell, I actually like it. This drop right here gives me some hope, actually. I know it's down 16%, but this might be a trade. If we can get a pull back up to the VWAP, right up to around the $66 mark, then I might be able to get a short on this thing off the open. So I'll keep an eye for that. That might actually be decent. I'm gonna add Dell. I'm gonna put Dell on a chart here. Let's see what we got. Okay, I got my stuff set up, guys. Yeah, I have to say, I said earlier I didn't like Marvell, but this drop down in the last 3 minutes has really actually changed my perspective on it. It might be a little bit better. We'll see what we get. 5.5 million shares traded on Marvell already, so I know it's definitely active. Here's the opening bell. So what I'm looking for is a pop up on Marvell and then a drop. If we can get that, I will consider a short on this thing. I'm worried that it may just drop without me, and if it does, then, then so be it. I'm not going to get into this until I... Here's the pop that I was looking for. Is it going to be short-lived, this pop? This may be one where I have to get in with a small size and then add to it if it pops more. Let's short some here. I don't love my entry. It's not great, but I'm in anyways. We're down a little bit here, so I'm going to take a partial. That's great. I didn't get a great entry on this, guys. 64.30 is my entry. I just took a quick partial. I'm hoping to get a very small partial, but I'm going to move my stop down a couple of cents because this thing could pop on me and I do not want to get stuck. And hopefully you followed that, right? I was trying to describe what I was looking for. The pop wasn't as high as I'd hoped, so I got in with the smaller size than I normally would. But that's okay, because it's moving in my direction now, so at least the setup worked. I'm going to take another partial right here. Once again, moving my stop down a couple of cents. That's maybe a few more cents than I need to. There we go. And we're getting a little bit of a pop-up. Let's just hang on here. You notice I took that second partial at where I'd set this daily level, 63.65. I have a daily level here, so that's what prompted me to take another partial so quickly. The first one was just because it was the initial move, right? So I took it there, and then I took my second partial at this daily level I'd set. And, you know, I feel vindicated because it popped off that. Now, if it comes back up again, I'll just let myself get stopped out. But I'm hoping that we get a further move down. What else we got out there? Affirm is gapping up here. Wow, good strong move higher on Affirm. Look at that. A much better move than what I've got going on Marvell. This is like a $4 move as opposed to my move for pennies here on Marvell. What else is going this morning? We've got Bubba that people were taking a look at. Let's flip over to that. Pretty modest movement here on Bubba. And I noticed PLTR is actually moving off the open. So you got a little bit of move. It went green for a second and now is going red again. All right, Marvell is dropping here again. Let's see. It's got to get to a new low. If I go to a 60-minute chart, what am I looking for? Wow, I don't know what I'm looking for to the low side. 60.40, that's a long way down. We're not going to get there. In between, yeah. We don't have a lot of levels here. I don't have a lot to go for, so not really sure. I think I might just have to look for whole dollars. If we can drop, 50 cents down to $63, that might be good for another partial at a level. And then it would be lovely if we could get this VWAP. I want to move down fast enough that we get the VWAP below my entry. That would be great. And then I can just hang out for a while. We may not get it. This thing is looking like it's already getting some support here, so I don't love that, but I'm tempted to take another partial in case this thing bounces. I don't have a lot of faith in Marvell to take a move, so I am taking another partial here. And unfortunately, I didn't get a good fill on that one. It had already started to pop on me, so it was about 10 cents higher, well, almost 20 cents higher than I had hoped for on that fill. So, but yeah, trading Marvell. Let's see here. All right, guys, just seeing if I can still get Mike in here. It looks like it's going to come back up to my entry, guys, and stop me out on Marvell. There we go. I just got stopped out as I was saying that. So, all right. So there you go. Quick initial trade on Marvell. I'm happy to take the money and run. Not a big trade because I actually traded smaller size because it didn't actually move. The pop higher wasn't as big as I wanted. But I hope you guys saw that because it demonstrated what I was looking for on this trade with my Rising Devil type approach. Notice how I waited at the open until I saw the pop and then the retracement because it had moved down first, then popped up, then moved down again. So always waiting for that pop before I will get in short, and I'm glad I did today. Sort of worked out okay for me. Again, not a blockbuster trade, but can't all be. What do we got going on in the basics? Looks like NVDA getting a drop off the open. Look at this. Remember that range I talked about in these little boxes I was drawing? I mean, it just dropped off the open. That doesn't feel like a particularly predictable move, but that's not NVIDIA's normal MO. David Jordan, thank you for that. Yeah, trying to give you a full view of what you got. And James, you're absolutely right, James. Look, I took the damn trade. So I remembered it for today. Very happy with that. So that's good. I don't know.
Got me, Peter?
Oh, Mike, he's alive. Guys, it's Mike.
What did you do to fix the thing?
As I was just talking, I noticed that I got disconnected, and then the thing automatically reconnected, and for whatever reason, it works now. So I don't know what happened, but sorry about that. I was.
Hey, no problem.
I'm glad you're here now. So,
yeah, I didn't want to leave you hanging. I saw you post.
No. Well, I know it wasn't you.
Try again.
It definitely wasn't you. Technical stuff happened, so. I was just coming off. I just had one trade. I did a quick short on Marvell, which worked out, but I got stopped out. And yeah, that's it for me so far this morning.
Yeah, I've been all flustered ever since this morning. So
I can imagine throwing you all off.
Yeah, trying to get everything. So I haven't taken any trades, but AMD was a good short at the open when it went up and tried to rejected previous day close. I saw it too late, couldn't get in, and you can see what it's doing now. So
I see that. It's funny. I was just looking at NVIDIA, and NVIDIA dropped right off the open. Remember those boxes that we were drawing? It dropped right out of that, but no pullback or anything. Just sold right off, and it looks like it's continuing that downward movement. So. Interesting on that. I'm busy watching Marvell, but yeah, this might have been an interesting trade. Okay.
Yeah. AMD,
your little
good one.
Your mic sounds like it's echoing a bit, like you're a big empty room. Sort of what it sounds like. Maybe it's just the setting.
How's that?
Oh, it's quieter now, and it eliminated the echo, but.
Yeah, my gain was turned up super high for some reason.
Okay, there you go. That's probably why. All right, good.
Trying to get all organized. Normally, when we do this, I get organized beforehand.
So. I know, and hey, I appreciate you sticking with it and trying to jump in here. So, okay.
We got
back in the chat room. I can see that. Thor is up to his usual magic. Looks like he's trading Tesla short. He went short just after the pop on the open, and he's got to stop above the high of day. It looks like if Tesla goes over 349, he's going to be out. Let's. I can show you guys here. Here's his trade in the chat room if you can see that. And he's short here and looking for a low. So, wish him luck in that trade. He'll be on later this morning to let us know how that goes.
These are the days that 2 years ago I would do massive damage to my account, missing the trade on AMD, and then I would go look for something and just get into it, and then get stopped out, and then get all mad and emotional. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
such a good short on AMD.
It's good to have learned from those things, right? That you now know to say it's better just to sit back, right? Wait for a real opportunity, not try and force some, revenge type trade just because you're upset about having missed the earlier one.
Google's so
easy
today.
To say, so hard to do.
Yeah, Google's strong today. That was the other one I was looking at, but similar to NVIDIA, just in the opposite direction. It just went and never really gave an opportunity to get in either. No type of pullback or
Sorry, which one are you looking at?
Google.
Oh,
Google went.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the other one that was on my watch list.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yeah, I don't normally keep an eye on Google, so. Yeah, it's up.
Yeah, I don't either, but I mean, it's just been trading very nicely off of levels the past few days. Now it's up at a level that it's really kind of struggled with. All-time highs, I always like Stock's near all-time highs, so
All
it is flirting with its all-time high of 212.22.
right. Well, it's right at it. So yeah,
Yeah. So we'll see.
hit a high of 212.29 this morning. So it did officially, I suppose, set a new all-time high.
Yep.
And looks
New
like
all-time high.
it could push higher.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what it does.
So it's got orders up there at 213. So
I like it. I like it. Okay.
I'm gonna keep an eye on Google right
That's
now.
interesting.
So
That's very interesting. If I look, it says on my level 2 or level 1 data that the high of the day is 212.29 in Google, but if I actually look at the candle here, it says it hit a high of 212.32, but only a 3-cent difference. But when you're at all-time highs, that matters.
oh,
But right now,
it's 212.34.
well, I was going to say, right now it just set a new one, so it becomes irrelevant. Look at that. Yeah, Google moving. All right, guys, what else we got? Marvell seems to be settled into a little range here that it's trading in. So, yeah, maybe if I'd gotten like the perfect entry at the top of this candle, I could still be in this. Otherwise, I'm happy for my little trade, right? I'm actually pretty comfortable with the partials that I made as well. And yeah, it's at least I took the trade, right? So whatever happens.
Yeah.
I can go into the weekend saying I took the trade, and if I find some others, I'll take them. If I don't, then so be it. Sorry, phone. 1 sec.
Bat phone. It's up there. So how's everybody out there on YouTube doing? Sorry for the mishaps this morning. I was all up and ready. I even got up at 5:30 this morning and had everything all prepped. So I'm not doing too bad. So I'm gonna be sitting here waiting, making sure I don't do anything stupid after missing the AMD trade, and then getting ready for the long weekend and the startup of Peak Capital Trading. So that's gonna be fun.
These crank robocalls, man, like they're getting more and more creative. This was a good one. So they pretended to be my internet service provider and said that they're upgrading to the highest speed fiber optics in my area and that they're going to deliver free of charge a new high-speed fiber optics modem. Now, I happen to know I have got their highest speed fiber optics modem already operating here in my house. So, and the other thing that made it suspicious, they said all the right words except for it was in this clipped AI voice where the grammar was not quite right. And I know if it was actually coming from my service provider, the grammar would have been better than what they sort of worded it as, but they were close. They were very close. I imagine a lot of people would probably click the button, and it would be a great scam, actually. You could go and deliver then a router into someone's house, scrape all their data, and rob them blind. So I hope people don't fall for it, but yeah, got to be careful, man, when you those phone calls.
Could be a bad one. So
yeah. Anyways.
That could definitely be a bad one.
Yeah.
Especially if you let somebody into your house.
Yeah.
Tight.
I mean, they might not even have to, right? They could just ship it to you and say, "Here, unplug your old one, plug this one in," and then they'll just electronically take your data. Be a good investment for them, actually. They give you, cheap routers. Yeah. You figure if you can get from, steal people's banking information and steal their data and their money, and anyways, don't fall for it, people. Always be suspicious.
Always.
You can't even trust a call when you get a real one. I got a call yesterday, and like on the phone, it actually said it was my insurance company, and they said we want to do an assessment of your insurance needs. And I was really skeptical, but they never asked me for any personal information. They gave me all my information, and they knew enough that I'm like, okay, this is legit. Like it's from the company. They're really calling.
Yeah.
And I knew it was absolutely legit after giving no information other than some very general questions they're asking that they wouldn't know about net worth and stuff. Um, they basically said, "Yeah, we can't do anything for you. You've got all the insurance you need." So I'm
I
like, "All right, thanks."
spy selling off here.
So
The I whenever I get those calls, right, I'm just so hesitant to give any information
oh yeah,
without being like, I'll call you back.
yeah.
Like,
I,
I'll
I've
call
I've
you.
had some. I had one especially after our trip to France, Mike, when I was dealing with the guy that ripped me off from the pedal
Oh
taxi, the
yeah.
pedal bike taxi. Still haven't heard back, so I assume that my claim has been processed. But anyways, the bank called me a couple of times, and I'm like, they started by asking, we just need to verify some information. I'm like, sorry, you called me. I don't know who you are. I can't. I'm not confident as who you are. Let me call you back. Where do I call? What number? And then I check and make sure it's a legitimate number. And I felt bad, but I'm like, you haven't given me
Yeah.
enough to make for me to be definitively sure that you're actually calling from the credit card company. There's too many,
Too many
fraud,
frauds out there.
too many fraud. Yeah,
Yeah.
too much, too many people trying to scam you. So,
It's
anyways, what happened in France? I look, the short story was I on a whim I decided to get these those pedal taxis, pedal bikes, and
You forgot the
I made it.
first
I
rule.
was with my son, and he was with his wife, and I was with my wife. And bottom line, I made a rookie mistake. I forgot to ask the price before we jumped in, and we got to the other end, which was 2 kilometers, less than 2 kilometers from where I started. Took less than like 10 minutes to get there, and they were going to charge me like 150 euros per pedal bike for
Yeah,
a 10-minute
crazy.
trip. 150
Yeah.
euros per bike. He said, nope, that's a minimum charge. You have to pay. And then when I refused to pay, the two guys ganged up on me, basically physically started to try and intimidate me and said, let's call the cops. And I'm like, absolutely, let's call the cops. Anyway, so they started repeatedly trying. So I agreed I would pay one of the two fees, but they ended up charging me one because I figured I made the mistake, dumb, tourist error. I should have asked the price beforehand. So okay, you got me right. I'll pay your extortion fee once, but I'm not paying it twice. You guys can split it. Anyways, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's the story. So in any event, yeah, let's go back to the markets here. Yeah, the SPY, like you said, selling off, Mike. We're at this daily
Yeah.
level that I had set here, so we'll see if it gets some support. The Qs look like they're doing the same thing, also selling off here this morning. So probably
Yeah.
driven largely, I would think, by NVIDIA. Again, NVIDIA looks exactly the same movement here. So we'll see what it
Yeah,
does.
the other crazy thing to be aware of is that JP collar that Jared keeps talking about. I mean, this level that the SPY was at this
Mm,
morning was pretty close to it. So
yeah.
it naturally does not want to get over there. The option market has a ton of orders around that 6505 level on the SPX and equivalent when you figure it out on the SPY, it's pretty much around 648 ish, right? The cents will vary based upon some weird calculation, but that's the level. Yesterday in the afternoon we were over it, got it, but then it sold off down below it, and it really has not been able to get back up above it.
Yeah, and
So
I think for the balance of today, we're going to see fairly muted price action. I think it's been a fairly, eventful week with us hitting all-time highs last 2 days. It feels like
yeah.
again a pullback is very reasonable to me, so I'm not surprised our price action here is pulling back so far this morning.
Yeah.
I do wish I'd been look with trying to get you into the room and everything. I'm lucky I got one trade off because, like you said, Mike, it can be distracting when we're trying to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
It,
I mean,
it, it
I
throws
looked at
you
Nvidia.
outside of your routine, right?
It does. Well, I mean, hell, these last 2 weeks have been outside of my routine because all the stuff I have to manage in the background. But I mean, Nvidia just looks like such a great trade. Like even if you didn't get it off the initial drop here, a couple minutes in, when it did a little ABCD pattern, right? I would call this an inverse ABCD pattern. A good opportunity if you still thought it was going to be weak, which was supported by the market doing the same thing. You could have gone short here with a good risk to reward and gotten some good return on that. But that was just about the time where you were joining me here, so we were a little
Yeah.
distracted, understandably. But yeah, in hindsight, it looks great. Anybody out there catch this? If you did, congrats to you because it's a good move. And it's good solid. Now I don't know whether it's going to continue. Nvidia is still a very strong stock, so just keep that in mind. But you get these moves where you
Yeah.
can. Jonathan Russell, you got it. Awesome. Mr. Solution, you
That
shorted
is
Nvidia. So
nice.
yeah, that's great. See, that's good. I like the fact that you guys shorted these things and you got smart moves. In fact, Mr. Solution, you're saying you shorted it at 177.50. Oh wow, so that's pretty aggressive. Yeah, you got in pretty early when you saw it dropping, it looks like. How do you stop yourself taking profits too early? I get
A
that.
plan.
That's a great question, right? And I'm not the best one to answer it because I typically take profits way too early. But here's what I say. One of the reasons why we set levels in the morning is to understand where is there going to be a most likely uh, area for support or resistance. So if I'm looking in Nvidia, right, I've got a level at 176.24. If nothing happened on the stock and I was in like you at 177.50, I'd be looking for that level, that area, as a place to take a partial. Now, that being said, if I saw that level coming up and I saw this little ABCD pullback, I'd probably be taking a partial in there at the 176.60 area anyways, because it's the area where my level was set. So the best thing I can tell you is how do you stop taking partials? Set levels, and you have to over time develop confidence that those levels have some meaning, and just wait for the levels to hit. The ultimate example, I'll go back to Thor. Thor is the ultimate example where he'll set big levels, right? Let's look at well, you can't. Well, you could. I mean, he if he he would might set a level and say, look, I'm looking for this thing to go all the way down to 174, right? Because I can see an area of support down here, which happens to be the low of pre-market, by the way. But anyways,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm just not taking a partial till it hits that hell or high water, right? And then he would hold. Or even better, you might go all the way down here, right, to the 170 where you saw the support back on the 20th. But whatever you do, set some levels and just do your best to hold to them. The other thing I would suggest, if that's not good enough for you, and I get it, right? It can be really hard to hold for a long time. Start to reduce how much you take off. So when we say a partial, right, for anybody, we sometimes use shorthand. Basically, if you get in with a position, you don't have to exit the whole position, right? You can exit part of the position. So partial means, for example, if you took 200 shares short, you might take half of it off, 100 shares. And if that's your normal partial, where you take half of your remaining size off, reduce that. Take 10% off. Even with 200 shares, when you get to your first level, just take 20 shares off. That still leaves you the bulk of your size, 180 shares. It's going to make you feel better. I took some money, I put it in the bank, but you can leave the majority of your size for your major level if and when it hits. And then even if
Yep.
you feel like, you start to get nervous because it dropped a little bit more, you're in a bigger profit, take another 10 shares or 20 shares off, right? But try and reduce the amount of shares that you take before you get to the major level you're looking for. And over time, that'll help convince yourself, you know what, I should just wait. If I'd saved those few shares, the 10s and 20s, I could have made another couple of bucks off of those, plus the others that I held on to. And you'll build that confidence. But that's what I would recommend. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Having a plan is the most important thing, right? When you have a plan, whether it's based off of levels, whether it's based off of your data analysis, it helps you stick to that plan. If
Yep.
you if you were just getting into a trade and then being like, hey, I'm going to let the price action dictate where I take partials or get out, it's going to be very hard to have a solid, reliable plan. Because, I mean, look at it. price action, you get in and price goes up and down and up and down and up and down. It's easy in hindsight to look at candles, right? Because it's either a white candle or a red candle. But while that candle's forming, it's going white to red to white to red. And that can really, really start to mess with you. So,
Yeah. And that's a great point. Like, let's zoom in here. I'm going to zoom in for you guys on NVIDIA, just a case in point, right? If you look at let's pretend this is a static chart. Obviously, we're still actively trading here, but I mean, just look at this little candle here. Let me draw a box around it so you know which one I'm talking about. I just want you to look at this candle right here for a second, right? It's a red candle. But if you really think about what happened during the course of this 1 minute, the stock would have opened here at the top of this red section. At one point, it would have gone up higher, and this would have been not a huge, but it would have been a white candle before selling off somewhere below this price, and then it end up closing right at this level. So there was definitely movement up and down. So if you're letting yourself be swayed by these micro movements second by second, it's tough to hold for the bigger actions. And Mike and I can say this by experience. We've been watching these candles for years. We get it. Doesn't mean we're immune to it. We'll still do it. Sometimes when you get these big candles, like, this big red candle here, right? If we go back and look at this one, I can't tell you what happened over the one. Whoops, that's a terrible box. That's not what I was trying to draw. Anyways, this candle here, you guys know what I'm talking about. I can't tell you what happened over the life of the candle. I can tell you that it opened here and it closed down here, and it looks like it opened at the high and closed at the low. But over the course of it, it could have gone all the way down here, all the way back up and down again for all I know, right? I have no idea. So just keep in mind, it's so easy to look at a chart afterwards and say, oh, it would have been easy to do this. When you're really in it, it's not so easy. That's one of the reasons why some people, especially if you have levels that are farther away, look at bigger time frames. Right? Look at a 5-minute chart. You look at a 15-minute chart if you have to, and whatever you do, or don't look at it at all. Set your levels and walk away. There's lots of tools now where you can literally pre-program your partials. I like range orders. If you don't know what those are one cancels the other, OCO orders. Basically, so I can set a stop loss and I can set a profit target. And if I have 200 shares, let me use that analogy or that example again, I might say, look, take 50 shares off at this price, take 50 shares off at this price, 50 at this price, 50 at this price. So I'm going to set 4 different stops, profit target levels for my 200 shares, 50 at a time. The stop price may be all the same level, right? For each one of those 4 orders. It's going to be my break even in all 4 cases. But I've now got 4 different levels where I want to take profit, and if it hits them, then I get the money. If not, I get stopped at break even. I can set those, and I could literally go walk away and go mow the lawn, go do some push-ups. I don't care. Do something. But sometimes that is a way to manage it as well, right? Set your levels and walk away. You've got your plan. All you need to do is hold to the plan. Sometimes the best way to do it is don't let yourself get in the way. Automate it, walk away. You've done the work, right? You've already done the work by setting the levels and setting it up. That's the work you need to do. So think about that as another option.
So Google's selling off and seeing
Google. Let's
Spy's looking like it's kind of finding a support level here. Off of
Google hit that high, and it's really sold off over the last 10 minutes while I've been gabbing away there. Banner, you use those stop orders in DOS. We could talk about it in more detail, but actually, you know what?
Yeah, most platforms have those OCO orders.
Yeah, I am going to just give me a second here. I've got a great DOS video here. I'm going to give you a link in I'm going to post it right now. That link for that YouTube video.
Something. What was coming out at 10 o'clock, Peter? Because the market just got really squirrely.
10 o'clock, we had consumer confidence, I think. Let's see. Consumer sentiment came out. It came out a little bit weaker than expected. 58.2 versus a 58.6. So Yeah, a little bit weaker, but not that doesn't feel all that significant. Um,
No.
but yeah, that's the only number I'm really looking at. Anyways, that link that I just posted for that YouTube video, it's a DOS produced video that tells you how to set stop orders, all sorts of different type. In there you can find range orders that I mentioned. Those are my favorite, but there's different types of stop orders. Check it out. It should give you everything you need.
Market seems to like the numbers because the SPY's pushing back up.
Yeah. Jonathan, you're asking about does DAS platform allow to take option trades and then set profit and stop levels? That I don't know. I'm not an options trader, so I don't want to say yes or no and mislead you. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. You may want to reach out to DAS. They're pretty good about answering questions in their little chat.
Yeah.
Their chat
I would think they do
down there,
but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. I'm not in options. I don't use DAS for options, so I know nothing about that.
Mr. Dodu, if I'm saying that right, where did I send it? That link? I'm not sure if you can you guys see it? The link that I posted for that DAS YouTube video? Because sometimes they don't like you to post links, even if it's to other videos, other YouTube.
Yeah,
things.
I don't see it.
No, okay. Let's see here.
Which is strange because you have like mod permissions, right?
Yeah. Here's what you should look up. I'll post again the title. Here's the title of the video. DOS Trader Trips video. Oh my God, I can't speak. DOS Trader Tips video. Stop orders. Just go into YouTube and search that. You should find the video. It's on the DOS Trader channel. It's a fairly old video. It's been around for 12 years, it says. So, but it'll teach you how to set the stop orders. I find it's good. It's succinct, and it's broken into sections. So if you can go to whatever type of stop orders you want, trailing stops. The last section I think is the range orders, but it's good. Real simple.
Look at AMD. Oh,
no worries, guys. And thanks for the questions. We appreciate it. That's what we're here for, man. We want to help. It's what we do in the chat room all the time. Help people out, get them started, get them going. Heck, I learn things new every day about the platforms, about, stock analysis. Said I was listening to Thor, if you guys were here, for the last hour of our live broadcast on YouTube, as he was sort of going over his trade setup and strategy. Again, I know I keep talking about it, but it was so perfectly, like, it did exactly what he was talking about. And it's because when he was saying it, I was looking at it going, there's no way. Like Apple, it was selling off, it was moving right down to VWAP. It was like I looked at it and said, yeah, I just didn't see what he was talking about. And then I came back half an hour later, and there it was. All right, so Google's
Peter.
I know. How dare I?
AMD. AMD. Oh.
AMD doing.
Oh.
Whoa.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so painful.
So guys, are you listening to Mike's voice? That's the voice of Romo. He's got the regret of missing out right now, right? Because that's that this would have been a trade you would have loved. Man. But you know what?
See, these are the times that I have it, right? It's the ones that I'm watching that I don't get in, or I do something that throws me off and I don't get into the trade. Those are the ones that get me. Like if I came back and was like, oh, hey, AMD's on my watch list, I wasn't even watching it, and then it does this, I'm like, yeah, okay. But when I was actively watching it and putting the numbers in, I'm like, okay, this is it. Oh, it went too low. If I get in now, I'm chasing it. Hindsight, great entry still, but
yeah,
man.
Well, hindsight.
Yeah, that's where I get the Romo.
Always 2020, eh? Mike, I see. Oh no, sorry. Somebody was asking the question: do I use leverage? I can't remember who asked that, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, my account is I don't actually. I don't even know if I'm a 3 or 4 to 1 equity leverage, but I absolutely do use it.
Yeah, I do
Uh, Looks like I'm
myself.
3 to 1. My account is 3 to 1. 60,000 equity, yeah, 180,000
So
leverage. Yeah.
Tesla is down to an alert level that I identified earlier. Let's see what
Right.
Tesla's doing right
Yeah, that's what's
now.
selling off.
This is on the higher time frame. Tesla is kind of where it buyer, and you can see yesterday where it sold down to this level and kind of recovered. So this could be an interesting level to see what Tesla does. Can it recover, or are we gonna go lower? So
Yeah, I don't know. Tesla. I mean, everything's sort of pretty weak today, so it looks like it's going to go lower, just based on that. I
yeah,
mean, yesterday's low is down at
so
just at 340, pretty much. So, feels reasonable that
that's
we could
kind
go
of
and
yeah.
retest that 340. Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Um,
keep Tesla kind of on looking at. Google's still holding up pretty well. Um, it's struggling here around VWAP right now, and is below the previous day close, but
uh,
it's not selling off
I think
like
I
the
think you've
rest of
backed
the
away from
market.
your mic a bit there.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. There you go.
So
You leaned back in the
Google's,
chair.
yeah, I had to scratch my eye.
No worries.
So,
Uh, and guys,
so,
I see.
but
Oh, go ahead.
Google's holding up pretty well.
I see that we're not answering everybody's questions, and I apologize.
Um,
There's so many here. I'm not able to keep up. Steven Gulioso. I see that you're asking, how do you avoid FOMO of not holding your full position longer? That's a tough one, right? Like some of the things I mentioned earlier, go back in the broadcast if you missed it about how to partial might help. One thing that I always like to do on my positions, because I know I partial too early, is I always try and save 10%, the last 10% of my shares, no matter how big or small my size is. I always save the last 10% for the big move, right? And most of the time, that 10% gets stopped out at break even, or I stop it out. It depends on how far it's gone in that, but try and save a few shares for the big move. And if often enough it goes to that, that might give you the confidence to hold some for longer. Even this morning on my little trade on Marvell, right? I saw it start to bounce. You can see how I took partials off, but I left some. I left some. Now, this was more than 10%, I'll admit. This was about 40% of my size at that point. But just in case it made the big move, and it came back and stopped me out. And, it would have anyways. So, but I always leave that portion so that I can hopefully take advantage of the big move. Because when it really does work, that 10% can be worth more than the other 90% if it really works. But it doesn't happen very often. But it happens often enough that I find it's worth holding. So.
perfect sell off on AMD today. AMD's now down, similar to what I said with Tesla. AMD is now down by a big buyer
Okay.
that it's found. If you actually, Peter, you have my screen share, right?
Oh, I do now. Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll pull up a higher time frame here on the AMD, and you can see, right, today it hit that previous day close. There's all the sellers up there. And boom, look at where we're at right now. We're down here where all this buyers have been getting it. So interesting level. Can see what the market does. See if it holds up, starts to consolidate, and if the market starts to turn around, might be a potential reversal off the bottom. But
There we go.
yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your chart. No. Where's your chart? There's your chart. NS. There you are.
Oh, you got it now. Sorry.
Yeah, it was up. Your chart was up earlier. We just didn't have our pretty faces, so didn't want anyone to miss us.
didn't want anybody to miss you. So
How
yeah,
could
so
how could you miss me in this shirt?
yeah. So this area is where I would have been targeting had I been in that short up there, 168. So ish area. Hindsight 2020.
It always is, isn't it?
So,
I mean, it's so easy to look back
uh,
and say it. But like you said, right? Don't forget, Mike. You were distracted. You had technical
yeah.
issues that were, putting your mind somewhere else. So you know what? Yeah, it's a beautiful move.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but it's what it is.
And I do not intend to blow up my account before a long weekend. So
There you
I'm
good.
perfectly fine. um, we did have a question, another Peter in the chat room. I kind of typed to it. The setups I like are I like breaks of high of day, and then I like failed breakouts of the high of day mark. I like trading around high of day. It's just what I gravitate to. It's what I see well. I see volume and price action very well at those levels. And so I tend to gravitate towards there. Those are my favorite setups.
Wow. So Tesla just did what we had talked about, guys, a couple minutes ago. Remember, I said it'd be reasonable for it to go to that yesterday's low of day, which it did a minute ago, and is moving lower. It's now a buck below that. So it Tesla, big sell off here in the market this morning. I mean, again, big. We got to keep it all in perspective. We're still. If I look at a daily chart, so the SPY looks like it's a big, massive sell-off here. But if I look at a daily chart, we're still easily within what I would call this all-time high range, right? So, if we start getting down below 640 or 6,400 on the main SPY, then I would start to worry about an actual sell-off. But we're not close to that yet. So it just looks big on the day. But yeah, weak. Everything's weak today. Damn technical issues, Mike. I don't know honestly whether I would have been in one of these trades, but yeah, it feels sad to be sitting watching these things move down and not be participatory in it.
I know.
Oh well, what can you do?
Google's finally losing it, which I
Later,
like.
the Mr. Dodu.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Later. See if Google
Marvell?
can get below 211.
Marvell crazy candles. Yeah. I'm not surprised. This is what I typically see Marvell do. So that's why I said before the open, you notice how I changed tune very quickly, right? When I was watching it here and I was talking to you guys about it, I wasn't that excited about Marvell. And then it got this drop, these 2 or 3 candles. And as I told you, just as the open was setting, that changed my mind about whether it was, maybe a trade opportunity. I outlined my trade, I stuck to my rules, and I got it. And I'm now happy that I was out so quickly on this trade because clearly, right, it's sort of just chopping in a range and it didn't end up giving the type of movement that I would have been looking for. Now, because I was focused on Marvell, arguably, I wasn't focused on some of the other stuff that did end up moving better, like the NVDA and AMD and Tesla. But so be it, right? It is what it is.
Google, I'm interested if Google can lose this to 11 or not. If it finds support here, SPY starts to turn around. Google might run back up to the all-time high.
Maybe. We'll see. It's sitting just below VWAP and below the previous day close. Not a great position for it. It's a lot of resistance to get through, but we'll see what it might. Easy E, I love what you just said. It's so great to hear that, right? I like that you're feeling good about having buying power in your account and not using it. That you've been practicing that is good. The discipline is your most important skill in trading. It's not your technical prowess. It's not your ability to read charts. It's self-discipline.
Yeah. Discipline is probably the hardest thing to get through when you're trading. Discipline to stick to your plan. Discipline to stay with it, even though the market may be doing other things. Yeah. look at Tesla. Lost that 340 going down.
Oh, yeah, Tesla's losing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Look at that. And then, of course, Thor in the chat room. Once again, Thor with his magic. Remember, I told you, he got into Tesla way up here above VWAP, and he just held on. It hit his target now, and he is out. One in, one out.
One
Thor.
in, one out.
I got like a trader crush on Thor right now, I gotta say.
Yes, you do, Peter.
Just because every day he's posting these trades that are so simple and so effective, right? Because he knows what he's looking for, and just like we said, Mike, he sticks to his plan. It's so hard to do, and the fact that he does it so consistently is amazing. It really is.
Did you lose me for a second, Peter? Maybe not.
If I did, you're back.
All right, that's good. My DAS completely froze, so I was
okay.
And the chat room disconnected again. Did that weird thing.
What's going on over there?
So, yeah. They're just having a whole bunch of fun. Here we go. Google just broke to 11. And popped right back up.
It does look like there's some support here, but we'll see how long that support lasts. All right. Tesla, well, it looks like it might have stopped its decline. NVIDIA stopped a little while ago. It's moving sideways down here at the lows. Doesn't look like it wants to recover. Volume is continuing to decline. NVIDIA, if I had to guess, probably not going to do much, at least in the short term. We're at, what are we at? 1017 right now?
Yeah.
1018? Yeah, I think we're probably going to sit here for half an hour at least, and then we'll see after that. But Tesla, on the other hand, Tesla's been dropping so dramatically that, you know, it's bouncing a little bit. The volume's actually increasing, you can see on Tesla, as it got down towards these low levels. So I can't tell you at this point whether that means it's going to continue lower or it's going to bounce, but I can tell you that it's still moving.
Look at that candle on Google right after it cleared those 211 orders.
Mike
pushed right back up to the previous day close, got above VWAP. Very interesting.
Now, I know that you use, obviously you've got all your DOS charts like I'm showing on the screen now. You also have your book map that, like these charts that you can see on the screen now. Which do you watch when you're watching price action mostly nowadays?
I watch the DAS chart. So I watch the 5 minute and 1 minute. Book map I use mainly to help me find entry points, like to really kind of establish what the order book's doing. So I'm a visual type of person. I see it in the level 2 on DAS, but I like the colors. So
well, and thank you, CK, for that. Yeah, I'm actually, you know, while it wasn't a huge trade, I'm fairly proud of it. It was a good trade, as you said, stuck to the rules, and that is more important than anything. So. We will be doing a giveaway today, guys. We haven't done it all week, partly because of bandwidth on my computer, but I'm going to give away 5 audiobooks today. So stick around. I'm going to give you a special code that you can only use for today. So
there we go.
And we'll do that a little bit later here, so stick around with us. Give us a thumbs up, by the way. So remember, you got to give us a thumbs up, and then you got to put in the hashtag when I let you know what it is, and we'll do that so that we can get some audiobooks. There'll be audiobooks, actually, Banner.
I like audiobooks.
Yeah.
Especially on long drives, I like audiobooks.
Yeah.
So doing a lot of driving lately.
Yeah. Couple of minutes ago, we got that pop up on Google, so it's looking a little bit better now, Mike, for that move you were talking about. Maybe back to the
Yeah.
highs. We'll see what it does.
So
And
I am definitely going to be keeping an eye on it. I have an alert to see if it hits 212, that the previous all-time high again
right,
from
well, you guys
yesterday to see
mentioning
if it
NVDA, so
goes
just
there.
taking a look at what it's doing. Yeah, still in this range. VWAP
Yeah.
175.40. See if we can get through
So
that.
if you
Feel
look
like
at AMD, Peter, it kind of punched through that 162.40 down to 162, but has recovered off of that
bit
buying
of a
level
bounce.
that
Yeah.
we were talking about. So
So Osprey, I personally absolutely would, yes, play a reversal today, but I've got to see the setup. So far, like at AMD, for example, not enough of a setup for me to play a reversal on it. This might be a good reversal all the way up to VWAP or higher. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to see a strong reversal. I'm watching Tesla to see if we get a reversal signal. I'm worried though that these things are going to bounce without a good strong, the signals that I look for in a reversal. But I do think there's going to be a couple of them, especially stuff that has moved very heavily in one direction. They're always the best targets for reversals. Baba has actually been going up here this morning. Not sure if anybody got a trade on that. Fairly shallow move higher, and it's not without its sort of sideways motion in between. So hasn't been a great movement, but it is higher. Yeah, I'm not disappointed that I didn't pay much attention to that. It doesn't look all that good. Affirm, despite having some interesting movement higher in the first couple of minutes, really sold off, didn't it? And notice how it went pretty much right down to the level that it had started at, right at the open, right? Moved up 3 or 4 minutes, sold off over the next 40 minutes back to the open level, and now it's just sitting around not doing much. Google pushing higher,
there we
Mike.
go.
Looking
I
good.
know.
Back up to 212.
Back there.
Ooh, so David Jordan, so yeah, you're looking for a bigger reversal move if you're using a 15-minute chart. Nothing wrong with that. My ideal setup for a reversal. So I described it the other day, Trade Canada, but to be clear, so there's three things that I look for on reversal trades. This would go for bottom side reversals as well as top side reversals. I need to see a big volume spike that shows me the end of the buying or selling, depending whether at the top or the bottom. So in this case, if I'm looking for something to go long on, because it's a reversal from the bottom, I'd be looking for the end of the selling, which would be a big volume. I'd like to see a big sort of a big candle of movement too, right? Big price action that happens right at the bottom. Ideally followed by uncertainty doji, or what I call a spinning top, but that doesn't always happen. And I need to see all the orders, in this case, if I was going long, all the orders on the bid disappear, right? And we start to see some stacking of orders on the ask. That would show me that we're moving from a selling posture to a buying posture. So my ideal setup has those three elements. Big volume that shows exhaustion of the move, a big movement at the end of it, like that last gasp of selling that exhausts it, then a reversal of the orders on the level 2 order book, which is what bookmap can be good for, because you can visualize where those orders start to appear, right, when they start to move. But that's my combination of events. So it doesn't happen all that often. This is why I'm very particular about my reversals. And I watch a lot of things come and go, and I don't take them because they don't give me enough signals.
Google breaking a high.
Yeah. See that? And Candela, yes, I use a 1-minute chart. You're asking about APLD for a reversal? See, APLD, I can't judge it APLD is doing nothing right now, right? Look at these little candles. Volume's very flat. Like I don't see anything going on with it. So my short answer would be no. And it's not it pretty much can't put in a reversal signal for me here because it's been moving sideways for too long by my definition. Again, you may see something different, but the way I would look at it, yeah, APLD, it's out of play now. All right, let's go back to Google because that high of day and rejected.
High a day and rejected. Rejected the all-time high. Not a good risk to reward though here for me to get in. I would have liked that previous candle that kind of closed right around 212.20-ish and then got in there, got about a 20 cent risk, but
Now,
down here at 212 is just too much. With what the price action's been doing, you'd almost have to get an 80-cent move.
to the signal guys you're asking me about on a reversal, see how Google on a reversal, see how you got the big candle, big volume to match that candle, right? So relatively large volume compared to all the recent volume. Move to a high of day and then sold off. I didn't get my reversal candle and I wasn't watching level 2 to tell you what it did, but here's at least, I got one of my 3 signals here, or 2 depending how you count them, right? Volume,
Yeah, that first red candle's too big for me on a failed breakout. It just
and that's so it probably would have moved too fast downward for you to get a good risk to reward, right? That's why I like that spinning top doji, right? Which is usually small body, big wick, because that gives you time for the entry, so that you can say, okay, it gives you just that moment, that minute of uncertainty that you can get in and get the good risk to reward. Mike's right. Like this probably happened so fast, you wouldn't have been able to get a good risk to reward. So,
yeah,
that's the other thing that you have to measure in a reversal is don't chase these things because it can be dangerous, right? You can have a lot of reversals that sort of look good on paper, but if you look at realistically, where would you have got in and how would you set your risk to reward? Like if I can't earn at least twice what my risk is, it's not worth the risk of entry, because if I get into it, even on this one, right, and I only got, half of my risk back, well, unlikely for it to, that would mean if I got half my risk back, I have to win 3/4 of the time to make it worthwhile. And that's not sort of a reasonable expectation.
Yeah. So. Right. And see, as you're kind of seeing what it's doing right now, it continued to push down, but with the risks that you would have taken, you couldn't have really gotten a decent partial to cover losses. And now what's it doing? It's coming right back up. And why is that? Well, if you look to the left of the chart, you can see the previous day close and VWAP and has been support and resistance. So you know that when it comes off this all-time high, that it's going to find those areas again and pause. So you have to be able to get a decent partial around that area to cover, to make it worth taking the trade. And I just didn't have it. And so, yeah, see it pushing back up here.
Yep.
Google is.
Guess who's
Google's green, us? Apple's green. Those are the 2 green stocks out of the Mag 7 today. Apple, wow, look at the terrible price action on Apple today.
Apple's been pretty choppy. It hasn't been good. All right, let's see. We got a test here. See if Brian can join us. I think Brian's able to join us.
I am going to join you. I am joining you, aren't I?
You are. Hello, Brian.
Yeah.
He's alive.
Hey, Brian.
There you go. I'm alive. Yes.
Thank you. Well, we had some technical issues getting Mike connected, so I was worried about whether you'd be able to connect, but it looks like you are, so that's good.
It's all good.
What did I just do?
Good morning, everybody. How was your trading this morning?
Mine was good. Well,
So.
I only had one trade off the open. We got a little distracted with technical issues, and we moved. Unfortunately,
Oh yeah,
we missed this whole big move down because dealing with the technical stuff. But yeah, we've been
Yeah.
looking at it with a little bit of regret because it's been some good movement.
Yeah, that AMD one.
yeah,
AMD would have been so nice.
yeah.
AMD, yeah. Let's
So I
take a look at
did.
that.
Thor got a really nice move on Tesla. He just hung
I
in
know.
a bit until we got down to his target price, which was just around 338, and he was short from about 348. So a nice $10 move on that. Yeah,
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful short. You could have shorted just about anything except Google today.
exactly. Yeah, you could have shorted just about anything. I shorted NVDA.
Oh,
I
there's
did.
another
I
good
did
one.
join. Yeah, I did join Thor on the Tesla trade.
Nice.
Also, yeah, shorted PLTR. So yeah, we had a pretty decent day. Now we're getting some buying here, some bottom fishing, as they say. So a little bit of fireworks today.
Yes, there
Yeah, green
was.
today. Nice, Kevin. All right. Morning, Kuldeep. Good morning, Oscar. How's everyone doing today? Barely in the green. Well, any green day is a good day as long as you followed your rules.
That's the most
Yeah,
important aspect.
gold is looking good today. Just before I
Okay.
came over,
Google.
did a nice little 920 trade on AMD when everything bounced. Oh wow! Look at PLTR rip through the VWAP there.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Spy
Pushing
is
higher.
spy and Q's pushing higher.
All right, guys.
Google's.
Um, it's I mentioned we were going to do 5 audiobook giveaways, so it's time to start queuing up for that. Now, I think that you know what we're going to do today for the keyword, because I've been on a kick all week of my different shirts. Hashtag shirt. You want an audiobook? Hashtag
There we go.
Hashtag shirt in honor of my topical shirt today. Make sure you give a thumbs up and a like. Hashtag shirt. That'll get you in the draw for the free audiobooks. There you go. Everybody's getting it. Perfect. I love it. We'll give you a minute to do
There we
that.
go.
We'll keep watching these stocks here. But yeah, get that hashtag shirt in and you'll be entered into the draw. Awesome. We appreciate it. 5 people are going to get a free audiobook today. The process, by the way, if you're a winner, to claim your audiobook, you just need to email Carlos at bearbulltraders.com. He will give you the code to be able to download your free audiobook. If you forget, you can email me, but or just join here and we'll let you know. But Carlos at bearbulltraders.com, just after I announce the winners. I'll let him know who you are, and he'll be expecting you. So, all right, I love it. So many people getting their hashtags in. That's awesome. And Brian, Brian's like,
This
I,
is
I
my
feel like I feel like this is like a train robbery.
Wow.
What's going
Oh
on?
my goodness.
Oh wait,
What's
this
going
is
on,
my
Brian?
the yeah this is my this is my Burning Man outfit for this year, the
I
dust
see.
storms.
Okay, okay.
This is what everyone looks like,
All right.
and it's pretty
Oh,
hot. Woo.
I could,
Okay.
oh man, I could just
There
imagine.
you go.
Too hot. Thanks. That's awesome. It's dress up day here. You can tell it's a Friday. I do like the paisley vest too. That's always nice.
Yeah, yeah. This
Uh,
is another Burning Man outfit here
there you
when it
go.
gets hot.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
some of
guys,
the.
oh, go ahead, Brian.
Just gonna say some of the video from Burning Man this year has been hilarious.
I haven't seen any. I'm clearly not on the right links.
You just there's a bunch on YouTube, people trying to
Yeah,
hold up tents and
you just go on
dust
YouTube,
storm
search Burning Man.
Yeah, I have to admit,
2025.
I've done no
Yeah,
searches, so but yeah, I can't imagine it's too hard to find. I just haven't bothered. Uh, I wonder if Andrew's
50
phone got
miles.
filled with grit. That's why we haven't heard from him. Maybe he's.
Well, I don't think, yeah, or he or his, because he was using one of those the Starlink things.
Oh,
Maybe it,
Yeah.
it
maybe it,
blew
he
away.
put it out and it blew away. So
Maybe.
Or the
All right,
generator
guys.
quit.
I see a ton of people who have put in their hashtag here, hashtag shirt, and you've got to give us a thumbs up. And we appreciate that on the channel. It's time to get going with our giveaway. I'm going to start picking our winners here for the audiobook. So, our first winner today is Phoenix Gaming. Okay. Phoenix Gaming, you're going to get an audiobook. Again, if you one of the winners that are named, you just have to email Carlos at variabletraders.com. We're going to get another one. Sunil Rai. All right. You're our
Like it.
second winner. Ram G. Congratulations, Ram. Our third winner here for an audiobook. So see people still putting the hashtags. You still get to qualify. You're doing it last minute. Tiger T. Wow, we got like Ram G and Tiger T. All right, that's number 4. I got one more audiobook to give out. The Kingdom U. Wow, what's some awesome names here.
Wow.
The Kingdom U. Okay. You know what? We
how
have
does
we.
how
I'm
does
feeling.
how
Sorry, go
does
ahead.
Carlos do the how does Carlos do the giveaways? Like, are they how do you actually give away an audiobook if it's on
He's
Amazon?
got
Do you
he's
know?
got some like a discount code that he gives you that you can a unique code
Oh,
that allows you
okay.
to get it for free, basically.
So, Alexander, you forgot the R in shirt.
Oh. You know what?
Just
In
letting you
honor
know, we
in honor of Carlos's vacation and him coming back, I'm feeling generous. We're gonna do one more, so everybody's still qualified. I got 5. Look, I'm gonna give away 6 today. What the heck? This is the Peter bonus. It's like a baker's dozen, but we're giving away one more. Here we go. I'm gonna roll for one last person. Felix Sebastian, you're our 6th winner for today. So there you go.
there we
Well,
go.
can we do a couple of we can do a couple of my books maybe. I'm not sure if if Carlos can do that as well.
Well, you'd have to give him the codes so that he can actually give them away.
Okay.
Do you know how to do that? I don't. I
Um,
don't know.
Not really sure. So what I'll do is I'll research that on the weekend and maybe I'll
Perfect.
throw a few of my books in there for next week
Okay.
as
That
a
sounds awesome. Yeah. All right. So look forward to that, guys. We're gonna have some maybe book giveaways, audiobooks, or we'll see what Brian comes up with on his. Obviously, we'll have our normal
yeah.
giveaways. Andrew, well, we expect Andrew to be back next week. You never know. But thank you so
Yeah.
much for
Well, if
participating.
he stay Yeah, I mean, if he stays till the bitter end, till the Monday evening burn, uh, so sometimes it takes like 18 hours to actually get out of the desert.
Right.
And if it rains, it could be weeks.
Did did he get a
So
trailer again this year, or did he
yeah,
go
he
with the
did.
tent?
He got a
Yes.
he rented an RV. He says this is the only way to do Burning Man now because he's getting old and it's more glamping. So you have a clean place to go when you're finish the day, and yeah, I'm sure he was able to stay out of the dust.
Yeah.
So
Wow, I can't believe Andrews made a concession to age. So I'm proud of him.
yes, I think that's it. It's no more because we used to. Well, the first time I went there with him, we were staying in yurts, which were sort of like a temporary structure.
Yeah, and
You're
not
brave, Brian.
particularly airtight.
You're brave.
They were pretty, yeah, they were actually pretty airtight. These
Oh
ones
yeah.
were pretty
Oh.
decent. Yeah, and they even had an air conditioner in
Oh
them,
wow.
but the air conditioner only worked half of the time because of all the problems the camp had,
Okay.
including getting one of their portable generators stolen, like literally taken
I don't know.
away.
Because
I don't know.
Yeah.
Having an air conditioner in a yurt doesn't sound like radical self-reliance to me, but
Oh, I always said if, Burning Man it's probably the most un environmentally friendly event you can imagine. The whole place is run by diesel generators.
and you got to transport all that
So,
diesel out there, and
oh yeah, yeah,
oh,
uh,
oh yeah. All the people driving out there. Yeah.
and I'm sure they don't have any like spill blankets, or what do they call them? Like where you put the generator in like this plastic thing,
Oh,
so when it leaks oil
they
and
are,
everything.
no, they are completely, absolutely 100% anal about anything dripping
um,
on the desert.
on the ground.
Like we had at our facility, we had our showers shut down numerous times just because they weren't containing, like there are systems to contain all the gray water, but they would start to leak, and like there'd be a little leak, like you would think, okay, that's just a little pool on a desert, but they would come around and
Yeah.
they'd say, okay, shut this thing off, and then you had to dig up where the area where it leaked onto. Like it was kind of
Wow.
interesting. So I know a number of camps got shut down because they just weren't containing just even containing water.
hmm,
So yeah, no, it's they're pretty anal about that.
wow. Well, hello everybody in the chat room. Look, my apologies with everything. It's been one of these
Moop.
weeks. I
Yep.
completely forgot
Oh,
to put us back into the chat room. So I hate to tell it, hate to tell you, but everybody, you missed the draws on YouTube. I gave away a bunch of
Oh,
audiobooks on YouTube, and looks like they
yeah.
are.
Mm. Yeah. Material out of place. Moop. Yeah, no,
there you go.
and people leave their camps, like you literally have to you rake the entire camp just to make sure there's no, they look for anything, like you think of all the stuff people put on their outfits, like beads and sequins and stuff like that. You get they come back later and they look over the site and they grade you on how well you cleaned up. So, and you may not get
Whether you get
invited
a,
back if your
yeah,
site isn't pristine.
Uh,
is not good, right? Like,
Yeah, go to the fire festival. Yeah, but there was a show about that. Did you guys ever watch that show that was a complete disaster?
mm.
no.
Oh,
Uh,
the one that never happened.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the one
that's
they
like on
kept changing
Netflix,
the
right?
site.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Yeah,
yeah. It's sort of like
yeah,
a
the fire.
whole.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. A guy who ran the thing just wasn't taking it seriously.
Yeah, he was just collecting the money to line his pockets, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Everybody
But
was being promised these, 5-star camping events, and it just was a disaster. Anyway,
Yeah. Some people
yeah,
have
it was
a.
just more. It was if he'd have done as good a job of organizing the thing as promoting it, might not have been a bad festival. Yeah, he's a serial fraudster. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
definitely. And didn't isn't he like putting on another one and people are smart enough to repurchase?
I don't know.
I could have swore he was putting on another one again, but what do I know?
So the markets are kind of struggling here to,
Yeah.
people are the people that are expecting the bounce, the dip buyers are a little bit disappointed today. We finally found a bottom here, but there's been, the dip buyers have quickly run out of ammunition, and we're back testing. Looks like we're back testing low of the low of coming close to low of the day on the
Yeah.
SPY again.
We
Um,
are. Yeah.
Tesla's really just struggling to make any progress.
Spies heading back down to the low of day.
Yeah, Qs are moving that direction as well. So we'll see if this bottom can hold here. So longer term yields are up a little bit today. The gold, yeah, like someone was mentioning in YouTube, the gold has had a pretty decent run today. Gold's in the green. We've got energy a little in the green. That might be to do with they're talking about sanctioning Iran again, throwing.
Yes. The EU apparently has started with again, haven't they?
Yeah, Baba had a really nice day today.
Yeah, I noticed that it's up and put in an interesting
Yeah.
little double top here. Still at these.
Yeah, I always had trouble trading Baba. But it looked like a pretty decent move today. Yeah, we are at low of day, back down low of day on the SPY. So the dip buyers did not were not successful in holding this reversal.
Is about ready to go red.
What is? Sorry?
Google is about ready to
Oh,
go red again.
Google. Oh yeah, it's gotten a little range bound here, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's still, I mean, compared to the market, it's been holding up pretty well for,
Wow.
for how much the market sold off today. But
So
there's a
core
new low on
PCE
the
came in
SPY.
pretty much in line with estimates. All those numbers came in pretty much in line with estimates, 2.9% year over year. Mike,
Oh,
you're losing that. What is it called? The de minimis. Uh, that the
de minimis.
Did you just
tariffs don't
ins-
apply to goods under $800.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wondered
I
what you
say
were
that's
doing
gonna
insulting as de
a
minimis.
lot of
That's funny.
Yeah, that's going to hit a lot of the importers that bring in all this stuff for
Yeah, from outside China.
all the. Oh,
You
yeah,
know, there's usually I don't know. It seems like there's usually loopholes that they manage to find on this. They'll probably like start, they'll delay your shipment by 1 day and they'll just batch the orders by container or something, and then there'll be individual orders all still inside. They'll just call it one shipment for it's over that
yeah,
amount, or I don't know. It seems like there's always a way around it.
Yeah, it's trading it at the open was good. And then we've kind of gotten into this range for everything after they did their initial move. So,
Well, we still are in the summer, so last day of August.
yes.
Can't believe it's September. Like, when we come back to trade on Tuesday, keep in mind markets are closed on Monday. When we come back on Tuesday, it'll be September.
It's going to be September is always an interesting month to trade. I've noticed you can get some decent moves. Ooh, Google finally selling off here.
yeah.
Let's see. Let's see what it does at 211 if it breaks through there. It seemed it's been recovering around this level all morning, right around 211. Every time it gets down there, it just starts to buy back up. So
All right, well, Google's here. SPY did break lower, so
yep,
did move a little bit lower here.
lower.
I mean, again, it's a relative low. we're still we're still looking very good on a daily chart here, up in this high territory. So no need to panic, but this is probably not going to be
No.
another blockbuster
Um,
day.
yeah. Traditionally, September is probably one of the worst months of the year for the stock markets.
Right.
This is, just going by seasonality. Um, it is it is a month that tends to underdeliver on returns over the long term. Doesn't mean that this year is going to be like that. It's just looking at averages. So I think it's
I think
something
this
like
September
only
is going to
45.
be,
Yeah, something like 40% of
yeah,
the
that
time the SPY is up. It's which is more often than not it's usually down. And that doesn't tell you how much it's down either. It's just a reflection of whether it ends up down on the month or up on the month.
Right.
yeah. I think we're going to get some decent trading opportunity though through September, whether
Yeah,
it's down or up, with
I
the
think so.
Fed
Yeah,
rate decision, all the news that's out
yeah.
there. I mean, I think we're going to have some good trading this September.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be. I think it's going to be good. let's just kind of curious after the PCE number. Let's take a look and see what they've got on for what the odds are for a rate cut.
Oh yes. Let's see. Have they changed?
They got it. Like,
What are the
I don't
what
know
are they
if
saying
it
now?
changed at all. I am
Let's see.
getting
87.1% think it'll be a 1/4% cut, which is not much of a change. Yesterday it was
no, not much of a
86.7.
change at all.
A week ago it was 84.7. So it's gone up maybe 2% over the last week. But it is a big change from a month ago. A month ago it was only 63% that thought there would be a 1/4 point cut. So certainly the
Yeah.
uh,
So kind of looking to see if the PCE number really changed that, but really that PCE number basically just came in pretty much pretty
yeah,
much in line. Looked like all those
but it,
numbers that were reported were pretty much as expected.
yep.
So I wouldn't have expected a big change.
Agreed.
are you are you all doing anything for this weekend?
Um, I've got a lot of little things planned on my side, Mike. I've got
Hmm.
I'm helping my aunt and uncle replant some peony bushes. So that's exciting. I've got my normal cycling events. I've got pickleball. My wife and I are going to go to a couple of wineries in the region.
Oh,
That's
nice.
so that'll be interesting. Visit some
Nice.
local wineries. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. Other than
But
that,
do you have your Porsche back?
I do not. Actually, you know what? That reminds me. I have to text the guy again because last I heard it was being brought into the shop 2 days ago, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the status is. So thank you for the reminder.
I think he's holding it on. He's holding on to it. I think he's going to be driving around town on the weekend in it.
Yeah, going to do some
Yeah,
like crazy stunts or something in my car,
yeah,
maybe.
like another Ferris Bueller movie
Ferris
in the works.
Bueller.
Well,
Ferris
I
Bueller.
did forget to take the odometer reading before I gave it to him, so he could very well, and I wouldn't know. That being said, when you physically
They didn't
remove
put it
the
on
entire
your.
engine, surely it's easy. If they can do
Hmm.
that, surely enough, it's easy to disconnect the odometer for whatever they choose
Yeah,
to do.
probably.
It is not easy to disconnect, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Thor, welcome, sir.
Thor.
Sorry, a little Leslie Nielsen thievery off of
Yeah, yeah.
back in the day
Like,
there.
yeah, yeah. I caught that.
Yeah, I
Thank
got
you,
it.
Brian.
And don't call me Shirley.
Because people go, Shirley, you must be kidding, and you'd go, I never kid, and don't call me Shirley.
And don't call me Shirley. All right.
So,
Yeah, a lot of one-liners in that movie.
oh yeah, I mean, I think that's
All
all that
right.
movie
Well,
is. I saw the new version of it as well, the one where they have Liam Nielsen or playing
okay.
Naked Gun. It's pretty hilarious.
Well, Tesla's back at low of day. He really called that out. And good job on that, Thor.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We definitely had some nice calls in the room. You took some really good bounce
Yeah,
plays you called in. You got a really nice
yeah.
920 short kind of on the same thing. It was a good time, man. We had fun making money together
Yeah,
in the BBT room.
we did. We did.
I think
All
if I could
right.
just,
Well, I'm
guys,
gonna
on
grab
behalf of
some.
Mike and I, we want to thank you guys
Yep.
for allowing us to be with you. Mike, thanks for joining. Thank you, everybody,
Absolutely.
for participating in my shirt week. And I can't wait for Carlos to get back. Remember, markets are closed on Monday, so we won't be here Monday. No
Yes.
trading on Monday. But hey, we still have lots of trading left to go today. Thor is going to be with you for the next hour or so, and we'll let them get to it. So take care from my
All
side,
right.
and have a
Take
good
Yeah.
care.
weekend.
Have a good one, everybody. I'm gonna grab some breakfast as well. So have a good weekend, and
Right on.
I'll be throwing a weekend video out at one point, swing trade video, so you can check that out on YouTube. And yeah, enjoy your long weekend.
Absolutely, man. You too, man. Enjoy yours as well, brother. Again, fun, always fun. I really enjoyed this week. One of the fun things about when Andrew goes and does his Burning Mans or climbs a mountain somewhere is I get to hang out with the Prophet of Profit every morning in the main chat room. And we have this funny saying we have, which is we always make money together. But it's only funny because it's true. So it's just so much fun when we get to do our thing together. So yeah, man, thanks. It was so fun. So as a tribute, by the way, since we were talking about Canada and what Peter's up to, I just wanted to let everyone know I am drinking out of my current favorite mug. So it is very important that you
Nice.
look at this mug, Peter.
Nice.
It's got a little bit of everywhere. It's a full Canada mug, so it's got a little bit of a little representation of everywhere. And for some reason makes my coffee taste better than any other mug I have, and I don't know why, but it is.
It's infused with maple syrup, so that's probably why.
And the right kind, which there is a right kind and a wrong kind, I've learned. So,
Absolutely.
which is pretty amazing.
You need triple
So,
A dark.
we were talking about my Apple trade yesterday, and check out this banger I got on Tesla from the high to the low today. So we called this out in the chat room, and Tesla was at an R3 shorting location. So we let me get it up on my trading view as well. So it was a really nice, it got called out as a short. So we went ahead and went short on this thing, ran this stop, and then everyone got to just sit there in misery in the main chat room as I held through the drop. But it was fun and we made good money on it. But I think about half the room took Tesla short. So we had a pretty good time this morning. Even Paris would have to love this Tesla. So, oh, poutine and gravy. Yes, sir, Riley. Let's go. Um, I am a big fan of poutine, let me say. That is some good stuff. So T Chad, like the thing I'm really nervous about with this week, and I really needed today. Um, I really needed today, buddy. Because I was very, very scared. And I'll tell you why I was scared. Hold on, let me show you. This is a trade I took on Apple. Hold on. This is a trade I took on ES. Do you see what's wrong with all of these trades? Let me see if I can sort here because my they're out of sort for some reason. What's wrong with these trades? They're all longs. I know exactly. They're all longs. I had 3 longs this week. Like what is going on? My bear, it's so upset right now. It's angry. So thank God today we could come back to our roots, our true nature, and we could short. And I got a gorgeous short. So the bear is happy. The bear is happy going into the weekend. But I'm telling you, going into today, for the first time, I really felt like I didn't know who I was. I'm just kidding. But it was fun. So anyway, I only took one trade today. Only needed the one. It was a 250 risk, so made a K on this bad boy. Tesla was very bearish today. We also did call a trending breakdown on the overall market. So between that and everything else, I think everybody in the Bear Bull Traders room this morning basically cleaned up. So yeah. So we're doing it here. Yep. Well, thank you, Throne. That's very nice of you. I don't do weekly levels. If you want to see them, you can add them. You just go into the settings And then under here, you do show weekly pivots. But if you're using my setting, you won't be able to see the weekly pivots, right? Because I don't use weekly pivots, right? If you're using Thor mode, you're using my settings, right? So now if you want to, what you can do is you can go to the plays and actually turn on show options values. And when you turn that on, you can actually, hold on, doink, there it goes. You can actually see all of the values of Thor mode currently. So you can screenshot that and then recreate that in a non-Thor mode version, right? And then you can make minor adjustments to it if you want. But one of the things I decided I was going to do when I released my own indicator, both for myself and for others, is when I created my version, I was going to create a version that was mine. So now ATR limits, people, Tesla, how often am I telling you these ATRs work so good? Look at where our ATR high calculation happens to be sitting right now. Right on top of R3. Right? So this is about as low as we should have went. We're right near ATR low. Our ATR high has come into range. We're done. Isn't that nice? You confused me yesterday. Can you elaborate on higher, wider range? You said you only look for sell, but no. Nope. Yeah, maybe we missed part. So let me break it down for you really quick. Maybe. Hold on, let me restart my Epic. It's being weird. There we go. All right. So you have a higher range and a lower range, right? You can determine higher range or lower range in two major ways. One of them is just by looking at the CPR, the central pivot range. The other way is just to look at the closes, right? If yesterday's close is higher than 2 days ago's close, then you're in a higher range. If it's lower, you're in a lower range. So your higher range or your lower range determines which, if you think about this in like the sense of mining, right? The higher and the lower range is going to tell you which levels you're going to mine, right? In a higher range, right, you only mine R4, S3, and S4, right? Right, you're only going to mine R4, S3, and S4. In a lower range, right, you're going to mine R4, right, R3, and S4. Right, so what the higher range and the lower range does is it shifts which one of these two levels you're going to play reversal or continuations or reversals off of. Right, so now we have another factor we need to play in, whether or not we have a wide range or a narrow range, right? So on a wide range means inside. Narrow range means outside. Right? So if we open, let's say if we open above R4, even in a higher range or a lower range, there's only one play available, and that is a trending breakout or a counter trending breakout. They're the exact same play, right? But they're only used on a narrow range, right? If we're opening up in the middle of the range, right? In a higher range, we will short R4, ideally on a wide range, right? If it's on a narrow range and we're in a higher range, then we're expecting a trend outside, which goes like this. Right? So on a wide range, right, we would look for the extreme reversal. Now, if we open in the CPR and we sweep down on a higher range, we buy S3. Right? But in a lower range, all of that reverses. Right? If we open in the middle of a lower range, we can buy S4 on a wide, or we can play the counter trending breakdown on the narrow. If we're going to short the pullback to R3. Right? We don't short R4. It's too high. We only play counter trending breakouts if it gets above it. And that's the plays. Right? So plays that go outside are on narrow ranges. Plays that stay inside are on wide ranges. And if you want to understand that a little bit better, I'll leave this up for just a second. You can screenshot this. There. This basically breaks down my entire system into a diagram. The only thing you need to really be aware of is, are you in a wide range or a narrow range, so you mine the correct ones. What do you mean, Pig? I'm maybe rewatch it again. I completely covered. It's right here. Right? If it's higher ranges, you're buying S3. Shorter ranges, you sell R3. Right? You only buy the fourth level on the lower range, where on the higher range, you only buy the third, or it's always long above the fours, short below the fours. In higher ranges, you buy the third level. In the lower ranges, you're buying the fourth level. Right? So in the higher range, you'll short R4. Right? In the lower range, you'll short R3. Right? So the main thing we're doing is we're shifting how we respond on the inside of the range. Right? If you're above the fours or below the fours, you're basically doing the same exact plays no matter what happens. But on a lower range, you can reverse S6, where on a higher range, you can only reverse R6. But this diagram, we'll do it like that. Yeah, higher range, yeah, higher range or lower range. I did not trade ES or NQ today. So I traded Tesla today. I didn't trade them because now they both looked like counter trending breakdowns. So I thought they were going to be, I thought with the ranges, we were going to have an expansion day to the downside. It just wasn't a play that I like to play. So Morgan, okay. I am not going to say no. I never take a play that doesn't match up with my system, because that would be disingenuous. However, I would say that plays that match my system comprise 99.5% of my trades. Right? So you know what I'm saying? So like for instance, of the past 15 trades I've taken, I would say 14 out of 15 of them have fit precisely. Right? Like today, Tesla was an absolutely gorgeous trade. It was an ideal R3 short up setup. But I can go back for like weeks and show you my trades. They all look exactly like this. One of the things you'll find as you come by the YouTube is my trades from day to day. You'll be surprised at how similar they look. But that's really kind of what I do, right? I'm not so good at all the momentum stuff. So I started trading range. This is old school day trading, right? Back in the day when you used to day trade, the only people who could day trade were people with floor seats. It wasn't until maybe the 90s And even the late 90s, that day trading as an individual, like a retailer, became even slightly viable, right? So because computing power didn't exist and fast executions didn't exist. So you would use your computer to plot, and then you would have, your little, your clunky computer with your CRT monitor, right? You're sitting there to plot, and then you'd actually still have to pick up your phone and call in your orders, right? Or you would have to go down to like go down to like the broker's office. And then a lot of the old, if I don't know if a lot of you remember this, right, is a lot of the old brokers would have terminals at their offices.
I could talk to
So
this. Now you're living in my world. I used to do that exact thing before I could day trade at home because the connections weren't there and the infrastructure didn't exist. I used to drive to Montreal every day to trade out of somebody's office back in 1998.
exactly.
So yeah, it's so yeah, you're right, Thor. It's really only in the 2000s that I would say it really became viable. I did day trade from home 1999, 2000, but like I had basically level 1 and level 2 data only. There were no charts because your internet connection wasn't strong enough to support charting, nor was the software remotely. So yeah, imagine trying to trade with just level 1, level 2. I was miserable at it.
Yeah, and then and then think about that. I mean, then the round trip fees, right, were a little bit more intense too,
Very
right?
high.
So,
Yeah. Dollars per trade as opposed to pennies now.
yeah. So that's the real thing, you guys. But when because of dollars per trade instead of pennies per trade, and we had a big, I forget, I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we had this really big run on commissions, where we really started having a big battle, where commission-free trading became a thing, and other things like that. Really changed the dynamic. But could you imagine if every time you got into a position, it was going to cost you, $10 to $20 to enter and exit that position? You know what I mean? So you're going to trade in those days a lot more like what trading you see from me now, right? So what I basically do is I mirror that style of trading, which I still believe was actually the most effective way to day trade. I just do it utilizing today's modern technology, right? I know that from my charting here, for instance, right, that if I am catching high of day, which with a short up here, right, with getting in short up here, I do believe I am going to catch premium for the day. Right? So that means I believe I have high of the day. So if I have high of day, this squiggly line down here is my ATR low calculation, right? Tesla moves on average $12.20 a day, right? It's a solid mover. So this is why I can let this position breathe, right? It's made me $1,000 today, right? It's a lovely position, right? Stop was slightly above high of day, just above 348.75. It was like I think it was 348.78 if I do recall. I had brackets on during the entire trading day. Everyone was just sitting here watching it. But I stuck it just up above here because that actually put it above R3 on my 348. It put me just in front of R3 here. And if it went up and stopped me, I would have re-entered. Right. But the way the order book looked, and there was a lot of buying here that was not lifting the price. So it was quite obvious the specialist algorithm was deciding to distribute into buyers. So it really looked like it was going to sell off. So I went ahead and got short, stop up here, right? And went ahead and let this thing start selling down. And then so now, just like kind of true to that, because of my stop here, my 4-to-1 on this is actually fairly wide. Right. But I feel comfortable in that because this is where we should go. Somewhere down near here, we should run the majority of our ATR today. Right. So, and on $12, if I can get, so I got, a movement from 340, just sub 347 to 338. I mean, it's a solid $9 to $10 move on a $12 tick, on a ticker that moves about $12 a day. I really don't think there's any larger expectation as a day trader that you can ever have than that, is just running the ATR. So, but if you can, I hit one, two, three, four, five full ATR trades this week. So it's been a great week this week as far as just, getting these big nice moves across the range. But you can see here, I mean, it's not going lower. I basically have top ticked and bottom ticked this ticker, and I carried my entire position from the top to the bottom. Right? This, as far as I'm concerned, is optimal day trading. The only thing I could have done differently here, but I don't believe it fits the true style of day trading, is I could have added into this position. As we broke these new lows, I could have actually added into these and brought my positioning down, but I don't like getting stopped out on pullbacks. I'd rather just hold the whole position. One in, one out, uncomplicated, easy to replicate, easy-ish. Done. You're currently short IREN? Man, I don't know if I've ever looked at that ticker in my whole life. Right now, it's a sell. So like I wouldn't long this right now. The order book looks very bearish. We have a lot of selling that is going to the DOM. Our buys are being absorbed by the algorithm, so that insinuates it's distributing into the buyers, which would insinuate it wants to continue moving down. And we're moving hard into the bid with our sell orders. So the algorithm is allowing sell orders to go to the DOM while it's absorbing buy orders into what I would consider to be a bearish book. That equals downward movement. If anything, it's going to drop in any second, actually. It looks like it's ready to do it like right now. Nope. No. It's defending now. They're absorbing some more. So we have a buyer that's coming in to buy into this weak book. See how a buyer came in? So this is going to squeeze it a little bit, but you want to see whether this goes up or down. Watch how the algorithm handles this buy request. Notice that the order book stays very lean to the top side. The algorithm didn't just start tiering in orders there, right? It just kind of took the order, right? So what this is actually a form of absorption here. It was large buying. This should have resulted in an engulfing candle, but it didn't. Right, it actually ended in a quite small candle comparative to the volume that just came in. Right, so that's really interesting. Let's see where they want to go. They do have an institutional. How many shares is this? Nah, I mean it's maybe a pro tail order, slightly larger than normal retail order sitting up here. So, but it's being controlled by an algo. So I think it'd be fair to call it institutional. You got someone coming in here that's putting an order in here and they want to sell here. So they're probably buying off of this block down here. They're front running this bid and then throwing shares out to the top side, which I like that. That's very smooth, especially on a ticker that seems this lean. But there's no order structure between 2640 and 2670. So as of right now, the algorithm isn't insinuating that it's ready to rally. But it's also kind of showing it doesn't have quite the momentum it needs to get through R4. But I wouldn't feel comfortable longing this, especially on a wider range. But it looks like it wants to squeeze right now. So, anybody want a pure example of how ATR low works really well? You ready? Hi, ES. There it is. Right? That was our low calculation we've had all morning. If you would have shorted NQ or ES today and just targeted the ATR low, you'd have done all right. I do not, for the records, I do not believe there will be a reversal today. I mean, you may get like a bit of a squeeze that comes back to like S6 or something, but this is an expansion day to the downside, most likely. I doubt we most likely chop a lot for the rest of the day. We maybe sell down. We could actually deviate and go lower. We have the monthly CP down here on NQ. I would not be shocked to see this offer a little bit higher, maybe around S6, and then sell hard again and go down to monthly CP. Because like the volume, even on the downside, I really don't feel like the volume to the downside has been like exhaustive. Like I don't see any like out of pocket, like unusually large volume spikes once it got to the bottom. Yeah, I just think it's Friday going into it. Like I agree with you, Toby. I think it's Friday going into a long weekend, and we've made new lows after 10:30. You know, I mean, statistically, we don't double break today. So it's just very unlikely we go into a lasting reversal. Not that it can't happen. I'm just saying it's just very unlikely. And I don't play unlikely, even if it happens. I wish I'd have shorted S4, but my Tesla trade was gorgeous. Like M2K right now could be a trending. I'm gonna have a little fun on this one. I'm just gonna try this pullback here on S4 on 2K. I like how he held the box top here. This will be my second trade. If this one ends up stopping and not working out, I'll call it a day. But I actually really like this potential setup here. I like how we're re-offering and we're calling a counter trending breakdown here for the higher range. So this is a little unusual because we didn't open under, but I like the idea here. The ATR indicator is mine. It was coded by BruzX by my specifications. It's called Adaptive ATR Limits by BruzX. The Camarilla pivot plays, also mine, obviously, but coded by BruzX, as well as really key levels. These are my main three indicators that I use every single day. Thor's news, it's in development, but it's a little news indicator that lets you kind of see when new stuff's coming out and stuff like that ahead of time. So it actually draws like a line. So you can see here, you can see that that's when news came out. It actually, if you have news incoming, it'll draw a line for you and tell you that news is coming in. The order book's a little too balanced for this play. I like the overall CVD, and I do like the order book structure away from the price. I like the pullback. I like the tightened range as well. There's a lot I like about this idea. I like that we got the sell with the new low, the obvious premium offering that was a struggled offer. And I like that when we tried to buy down at 1120, that buy candle was very well absorbed. So when someone tried to buy with volume, they distributed into that most likely. So I like a lot about that. So let's see if we can get ourselves a little short here. Everything you're seeing here is automatically being drawn. I don't do any prep work on my day. All of my levels are auto drawn by my indicator. I don't know why. Maybe I should start doing RTY because I have to take 10 contracts on 2K to make it happen. So I may start doing RTY actually. So Verdi, I'm not sure. Like, so I get asked by people like if I can code them into Ninja or if I can code them into Toss, and I would be happy to help somebody. I'm just really, really busy. So like Bruz and I on coding into TradingView, I mean, I think he's got like 400 hours, maybe more into the code. I think I've got, I mean, into my system, I've got tens of thousands of hours into the development of my system. And I'm not a coder, right? So it's not like I can sit down and code them. So I have to find somebody to code them for me that I can teach the complexities of the CAM system and actually get them to understand it enough to actually code it. And then I have to handhold them through the process the entire way, having meetings and back and forth and this, no, it needs to do this. Like even Bruz and I right now, I'm on a development version of the CAMs right now. Right. So because we've made some new software updates on the logic for its play calling and like the size of the box it draws and stuff like that, because I'm trying to, I'm eventually I want to machine control this. Here we go. There's a little selling. Would have been nice if it had engulfed more, but whatever. My whole setup is free. So if you have TradingView or if you're being patient, BBT will have an integration available pretty soon on Trading Terminal. So, but if you have TradingView, you literally just search Camarilla pivot plays in TradingView and download it. Getting both of these screens on Thinker on Toss is actually really easy. See this right here? This indicator? That's where you do it. You just go up here and click, and then just do two, top and bottom. It'll give you two fields. Ghost candles are the bomb. My ghost candles, my brainchild. I love them so much. So I really liked how light this rally was too, and then we sold with more volume. But I'm a little concerned about this order here, 2382. That's way up here at near yesterday's close. So if we go into a rally, we'll squeeze and go up there. But I actually think this is statistically, we are more likely to do a continuation right now. Right? So I don't know if you guys ever check this out. Watch this. So, I mean, the chances of us like making a major reversal are pretty low, right? So it's more likely we continue in the same direction. And this actually goes against what a lot of people realize. So most people who become, let's say, I'm going to ask a question out here and see how this, I just showed you the answer, I think, but we'll see how many people still say it the other direction. If let's say you sit down at your desk at 10:45, and you're getting ready to take a trade because you were late. You have a regular job, and because of your regular job, you're sitting down at your desk and you're going to look for a trade. Give me an L if you would, or sorry, give me a C if you would be looking for a continuation. Give me an R if you'd be looking for a reversal. So don't forget to thumbs up, like, all that good stuff too. But in the chat, if you would be more likely to look for a continuation sitting down after the market's been open for about an hour, or would you be looking for a reversal? So I know believe it or not, the vast majority of my trades come from reversals. And believe it or not, that is a reason I rarely take trades after 11 o'clock, right? The vast majority of reversals set up early. The vast majority of continuations set up later. And that is completely the opposite of the way everybody basically has learned to stock trade. Almost everybody, when they sit down to start trading, if they've been sitting down after an hour, right, they are going to naturally assume that they need to look for the price to revert back to mean, when in reality, these kind of stats like ES, right, and let's look at the stat on the IB breakout stat, right, shows you that we generically break and stay to that side of our chart, which means continue, the vast majority of the times, right? And it really doesn't matter what ticker you look at, right? You could look at stocks, and you could go from stocks and look at Apple, right? AAPL, right? Initial balance breakout. Look at that. 75% of the time, Apple is only gonna break its top side IB, right? Which means when it starts to reverse, you really shouldn't be playing a reversal, right? You should actually be waiting, right, for it to pull back so you can play a continuation. And that is going to be completely antithetical to almost everything that feels natural to you in trading, right? In trading, like doing that kind of a thing, it's just such a burn. You know what I mean? And you come into it, so like for here, we've been selling down. Of course, this will probably do a reversal just to make me look stupid. But I did already have a really baller long. So just keep that in mind. But you can see here, like in this instance, like the play that I want is it's more likely to do a continuation play that runs to ATR low than it is for us to do a reversal and run back out to ATR high. It's possible. It's just significantly less rarely. Significantly rarer? Yeah, agreed, Pig Wrestler. Agreed 100%. Where to learn your setup exploits are where to learn your setup from. I want to understand how it works. Okay, so depending on how deep you want to go, I do lots of webinars and stuff at BBT, and stuff, but I highly recommend this. A complete day trading system, which is my book, right? It goes completely through every single one of my plays in every instance. It also talks about my risk management principles and how I like to do different things. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, nice, Samuel. That's great. So excited, man. But yeah, I think that explains it the best. I use a few different brokers. Right now my preferred is actually Apex. I don't use a funded for equities. If I did, I'd use BBTs. And then I use Take Profit. I don't have Top Step. I don't like them anymore, so I got rid of them. So I've gone through most of the major ones, and I was actually surprised that I ended up utilizing Apex more than others. But I think I've got 5 or 6 of their accounts now. I have premium, so or something. I recommend, it's really not a big price difference between the two. But So Trading Terminal will be out soon, Premier. And there some of these integrations are going to come into Trading Terminal, which we're really excited about because then I'll be able to port my indicators into there. It's going to be epic. Oh yeah, I forgot. On this one. Look at that reoffer of S4. At least if this one stops me out, I'll feel pretty good about it. I mean, multiple over. I mean, we had an over and under a reoffer, a second reoffer, and now a movement lower. I mean, that's pretty good. If I get squeezed out of this, I mean, what else could I do, right? Congratulations. I am on a development version of my cams. So we made a couple of adjustments, especially on the futures, to try and help them not switch as much when you're doing overnight. And I found some consistency things there that are working really, really well. So I think maybe after the holiday weekend, I did find some, and we also increased the logic on the play calling. But I did find some logic bugs already. So we have to iron those out before I'm going to be ready to push this one, unfortunately. But just be patient. Most of them should be calculating the same, but ES is doing a pretty good job. Look at ES right off of ATR low. They're doing a pretty good job of absorbing the selling here. Rewatching previous live streams is very useful for anyone. Oh, I agree. I especially recommend the Wednesdays. I really think the Wednesday sessions are like gold mines. I've actually been thinking about grabbing the audio from the Wednesday sessions with Dr. V and starting to post those as a webcast or a podcast, I mean. I like those. I like them so much. No, Bashan, I don't. When I take trades, I take my entire trade based upon the cams. Like I like knowing where the levels are. Like the main reason why I have the key levels here, right, is I like knowing mainly where the open price was. And that's really all that matters because where we open is important to my strategy. The central pivot is always going to, because I force RTH close, the central pivot's always going to be basically the same thing as previous day's close, right? So I really don't have to have previous day's close on there because CP's in the same spot, right? So and I don't really need to know what pre-market high is or pre-market low is. They don't really influence my trading plan at all. They're just there. Might even get rid of them at some point now that I'm thinking about it. Not really getting any good volume, but luckily we're not getting any good volume. Like anytime we rally, like this candle here was a really big buy candle, but it was on really low volume. But this sell candle was stronger volume and it was stuffed. So this is very indecisive. Nice, Alex. Have a great day, man. I really enjoyed trading with you this week. See you next week, buddy. Man, Tesla was so fun today. What a gem. Actually deviated and went over ATR today. What more can you ask for? Um, Khalid, I like it a whole lot, buddy. So here's the thing I like the most about it. Can I be honest with you? Look at what this looks like on my. But it looks exactly the same. You know what I mean? And the response is amazing. You know what I mean? Like I could click this right now, and if I hit this button, you'd see it sell on my screen in 5 seconds. You know what I mean? The sync between the applications is beautiful. Having the technology and being able to see all the play calls and all of my stuff, take my positions and have it look exactly the same. It's pretty amazing. And I also can be in it. Like this morning, I took a trade this morning while I was sitting on my back porch. You know, I was hanging out with my iPad and everything I need. I've got my news, coming in right here. I've got my ATR down here. I've got all of my cam levels on here. I can do my risk management here. So here comes some buying on 2K. This will be a moment of truth for me. Right. So I mean it's just really cool. And the tech is so beautiful. You know what I mean? I'd like to see this buy candle stuff and get forced down, but if they engulf it, I'm screwed. I'll get out. Be a small loss. So what I normally will do is just go up here and you can see where your order's at. Go ahead and click the price and then hit you can hit like right here, right click, try and do it like right under it, and then say add alert, right? And you can do a crossing alert right there, create, doink. And now you have a little crossing alert that's sitting there. And then you can adjust the crossing alert and put it right on your stop. And then you walk away. This is one of my favorite things about like, that really helps me with not being too anxiety driven in positions. You can just put your position on and just walk away from it. And then, if it you'll see here in a minute, if I get stopped out, I'll show you. Um, on my I'll show you on my phone. If it goes and stops me out, I'll show you what it looks like on my phone. We have a few minutes here. Maybe it'll stop me out. At least we can if I get stopped out while showing it to you on my phone, I really feel like I can write off that loss as an educational expense, right? The S3 was not viable because Tesla was in a lower range. So I would not have taken that in the market open. I would have waited for S4. I'm not using IBKR through TradingView. My IBKR is connected to my DOS. My IBKR you can see here is it's connected to my Tradevit account, which is my favorite futures broker. Funded, I should say. I really like Tradevit though. I think I'm gonna actually open my own actual Tradevit account. You can actually trade futures through them. I think I'm actually gonna open my own Tradevit account pretty soon. I do think ES can sell more today. Yeah. I think today we're expanding to the downside, but there's no way to know at this point. We've run out ATR low. So it can really do anything at this point. But a continuation is still more likely than otherwise. Disney for a reversal? I don't look at Disney very often. Or don't? Oh, I like it. It's too high. But the order book actually looks good. So for me, I actually like it for a short here quite a bit. The order book is a little bit balanced and there's a void underneath though. So I don't think it's quite ready. So what I would want to see is I'd like to see this candle sell through back into 2 days ago's close. And then I would like to see a weak reoffer. So as we pull back, I'd like to see lots of light candles. You can see our volume died as we tried to buy premium. So this thing does not look like it's doing a very good job of breaking out. And even when it did try and break highs, it had this big absorption here on this buy candle. This is a very weak look right here, right? It looks like it wants to sell off after that. Or at least I would expect it to sell after that kind of a movement up into premium, right? Because basically what happened, if you zoom out a little bit, right, is we set premium right here earlier, right? We offered it, and then we offered it, re-offered it, and managed to buy it. And then as we've bought premium, right, our volume has just tanked to the downside, right? So as we've gone up, oh, let me make my candles bigger. You can see here, look at our volume, right? Look how it's just been dropping as we've been moving down. And even here, when we got this big spike of buying, we absorbed that buying. So that absorption came from the specialists, right? So the specialists, remember, the specialists are carrying inventory and lots of it. It's what comprises the float, right? So if we're moving up and there, and we're going up and then we throw a lot of volume and the price doesn't go anywhere, that's because the specialist algorithm offloaded into that volume, right? When people wanted to buy, the specialist sold, right? And the specialist doesn't sell if they think it's going to go up, right? So generically, when you start seeing this kind of action, this normally means the specialists are kind of about done. So, but we're still too high to take a short here. We're at, we want to see this liquidate out and see it reoffer and then tag it on that reoffer, and then you can get your stop right up here. You need run back to the open price would be an ideal target. Back to what, this is probably monthly CP right here. Oh no, it's monthly S support 3. So keep that in mind. We are in a monthly buying range. So if you go short here, there will likely be lots of lifts, lots of pullbacks as it goes down. You may not like that. I had so much fun at Disney recently. Oh my God, I loved it. Hey, my pleasure, Riley. Have a great one. Yep. You just got an alert on gold. Disney's order book is actually starting to look a little more bearish near the price. So we're bringing bid in. So that's starting to make it a lot more shortable looking to me. So if I wanted to short, I'd be looking for like a new significant low. Like if it made a low below 118.15, that would probably be good enough. You could pull a short on this thing and throw your stop above, like, make 118.27 maybe. Yeah, 118.27. So now what you're watching for, like if you were thinking legitimately about shorting this, which I am actually, especially with the book looking like this, right? Is so what we're looking for is a sell though. Like this sell was too light, right? So we really want to see like a bunch of red coming through. We want to see like a shift in the algorithm's like posture. I mean, right now it still looks like, although it's not really buying very well, I can't say it's selling. You know what I mean? I really want it to like sell. Right. So this is where the trading gets a little difficult, right? Because it's like kind of like a where when situation, right? We're kind of in the right spot, right? But we don't have the right signal yet to say it's a short. Look at our large candles. They're all still green. A lot of buy volume just came through on 2K, but it didn't lift the price very well. But I think I'm going to be out of that N2K position. I think it'll be like a $150 loss. That's not bad. SPX? SPX just is right at ATR low right now. I still think it looks like ES sells a little bit better, you know? Like this buy on SPX right here, that should have lifted the price, and it didn't. We had a pretty strong sell that worked, but then a strong buy that didn't. Like with that amount of buy volume, this should have been an engulfing candle that like went way up here. So it seems to be a little disingenuous, this buy, but we'll see what happens. I like that we're right near like low of day. Like or right down near ATR low, I mean. Oh, my pleasure, pretty bird. I'm so happy to hear that. M2K is cut. Yeah, they all my hotkeys have profit targets. Like the DOS ones do, as well as when I hit these. They have hotkeys in them. And they throw ranged orders, brackets. A little selling coming in now. Cool, everybody. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this Friday, or as we like to say, Friday. So I hope everyone had a fun time trading with us today at Bear Bull Traders. I hope that you all enjoy the long weekend. Don't forget, it is a long weekend, 3 days, right? So if you show up on Monday looking for a good show, you're going to have to do it by yourself because I don't think Peter and Carlos are going to be here to help you out. So next week, Tuesday, I think things start to kind of get back to normal. I think Boss Man's back from the burn. I also think Carlos is back from vacay as well, not in the burn. So we'll look forward. But I also go on vacay next week, so to spend some time with some friends and family. So I'll be working, though, just remotely. So I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you all on next week. Talk to you soon. Keep it green, people. Much love. Bye. Roll out. We'll make it happen. It's all right. Here, frozen screen. Still frozen. Likes for Frozen? Oh man, I got hung out to dry. Okay, we'll just keep doing them until we're out. All right, ready?